disappointed with the way preparations had gone. She's had a good run in now this year. She's had them for the couple of weeks last year before the championship ended, and a couple of weeks this year like everybody else. And looking at them against Dublin the last day, they look to have a real style of play about them, and I think she's really left a bit of an imprint on them, so they'll be anxious to get a performance here today, and they'll be targeting a win.
Looking at the team that we have in programme and waiting to hear if there's any changes, there's only 3 new additions, but they've been obviously in our own setups before, so they're similar to the crew that was above in Salt Hill in last year's championship. However, there seems to be something different about this Offaly Camogie setup at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, and I think the fact that they have the couple of dual players as well who are contributing so handsomely here, and they've doing it with the footballers and with the camogie, so they obviously feel that there's something in the camogie setup that's worth committing to this year, and oftentimes that can be the case, that if you don't feel there's something to commit to, it's very hard to give that commitment to it. Susan, I think, had a really, really good setup last year, and even given the circumstances, still they certainly put their best foot forward last year up in Salt Hill, but sometimes that galvanises a team, and those kind of troubles, maybe off pitch and whatever else went on, can galvanise a group, and they're here today, and I think they showed the last day real guts and determination to come back from being 6 points down against Dublin coming into the final quarter, and they'll need plenty of that guts again today, but I think with Susan behind them they certainly are capable of it.
Now, just in the last couple of minutes, a lady who was a standout performer that weekend, never mind just for the Camogie, for the LGFA as well, was Grán Egan. She was poking a few balls around here. She seems in right form, and obviously committing to both codes over the weekend and producing it at both.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment obviously to commit to 2 senior intercounty teams, and she made little of it I suppose last weekend, but huge amount of time and effort, and obviously preparation and recovery and everything, but that comes down to the 2 managers as well. Obviously she has a really good relationship with both of them, and they obviously work well together, and I read an interview with her during the week where she said both of them know that she's not pulling the wool over anyone's eyes if she's not training with one night. It's because her body needs rest and recovery, and look, I think when you have a committed player like that who wants to commit to both panels and is willing to do what it takes, it's only up to the managers then to make it work for them as well, and it obviously is working for Grania at the moment.
Let's turn to Kilkenny. Brian Dowling coming in on the back, of course, of being All-Ireland champions. Not a fantastic result against Dublin, and a little bit of upset obviously to the panel, maybe that there's been obviously the retirements and everything, but there seems to be a few injuries. You still have Katie coming back rehabbing from her injury. Megan is out would seem obviously with an injury. Panel is quite small, so again we probably don't know what the real Kilkenny is like yet.
Yeah, look, first day out, the last day, wet miserable day in Callan. I suppose getting the win was probably all that Brian really needed. Blood a couple of players that were maybe fringe players last year and get them in and get them a bit of game time. Probably look at doing a little bit of that today as well, as you said, a couple of players still out. Obviously the loss of Anne Dalton is huge, like not alone from a camogie point of view on the field, but as a leader in the dressing room, as a leader on the field, you don't just replace that. But look, it's up to some of the other girls now. There's plenty of experience there as well. Maybe it's time for someone else to stand up and take the mantle a little bit, and maybe that's what Brian will be looking for in these league games. They won't want any easy victories or anything like that, but I think they'll have their work cut out here today against Offaly.
Well, it's resplendent sunshine here, about 18 degrees currently at St Brendan's Park in Burr, so there's going to be right championship fever about this, of course, on the 29th of May. It's the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League Division 1 Group 3 encounter between Kilkenny and Offaly, and it will be coming live to you shortly. We'll hear more from Elaine, and after these few words from our sponsors, we'll be catching up with both camps.
Our game's about style. We forge our own path forward. Because our style is substance.
Susan Erner's with us from the Offaly management. Susan, we're down here in St Brendan's Park in Burr. We've commented already on the weather. It has a championship feel about this, and I'm sure you're still learning a little bit about this group. So what are you hoping to achieve today?
Yeah, definitely. It's only our second competitive match, and we are learning. Like, we have a very youthful panel. We've a few girls that are on the sideline at the moment with injuries, and there's girls that are on the team today that are kind of stepping up to the mark, and they're all learning. Like, we're working on things at training the whole time, trying to improve them. So I suppose we're trying to bring the level of camogie in Offaly up from where it has been in the past, and I really think that the girls are working hard at it, and hopefully it'll be a fruitful experience today.
Looking at it though from the last day and from the outside looking in, there's a little bit of a good vibe around the Offaly setup at the moment, it would seem.
Yeah, there is a good vibe. The last day against Dublin, that was a vital win for the panel. I think it was since 2018 they hadn't won a competitive round game. So to win that has given the girls a sense of belief, a bit of bite. just that bit of belief that they can compete with some of the best teams in Ireland, and now we get the chance to play the All-Ireland champions, so we have no real pressure on us today. We're through to the quarterfinals anyway, but we want to give it a good crack. We want to kind of work on a couple of team plans, and yeah, it's exciting now for Offaly Camogie at the moment.
And I'm sure, just my last question to you, ultimately getting to the knockout stages of the league, when you consider maybe where things were last year, it's a little shot of positivity again.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this time last year, we were playing in Pierce Stadium in the lashings of rain in the winter time and getting pretty annihilated, to be honest. And but things kind of improved after that. Then we played Wexford, and that kind of brought a bit of positivity. But definitely, I think Dublin was the X factor for us to kind of give us that little bit of push for today. And look, we're really looking forward to the quarterfinal next weekend. We'll work on a couple of things today, and championship is only around the corner. So we're really excited now for the year ahead, waiting and anticipating who we're going to get now in the quarterfinal and who we're going to get in the championship as well.
Thanks, Susan. Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Brian Dowling, Kilkenny manager. Brian, down here in a fine setup in Burr, and getting maybe a championship feel about this league encounter in some ways.
Yeah, look, just delighted to be here, to be honest. Suppose we started 2 weeks ago in Callan, and the weather wasn't great, but the sun is shining today on the road up, so just really looking forward to the game now. Look, we just want to play as many matches as we can in the next couple of weeks, whether that's quarter-final or semi-final. Just, get games into the girls, and you can do all the training you want, but you just can't beat competitive games, and really looking forward to today now.
Brian, where do you feel, I know it's only early doors still, but where do you feel that you are? I know your panel is a bit slight at the moment. I know there's a few injuries and things like that. The lockdown and the impact obviously that has had. Do you feel maybe the last couple of weeks now you've started to find your old groove again, or what do you think?
Well, maybe answer that question after the match.
Yeah.
Look, it's hard to know. I suppose we'd be disappointed with the performance against Dublin, but in saying that, we'd no challenge game going into that game, and the girls are a bit rusty and stuff like that. So we got 2 good weeks into them there since the Dublin game. So we hope we'd push it on a bit from that, and look, we're not expecting miracles. It's still very early days. I suppose the aim of this campaign is to get as many games as we can, and if we can find a few players along the way, that's exactly what we want. Look, obviously when the ball is thrown in, we want to win every game that we're playing, and I'm sure Offaly are the same, and every other county in the league, and it's just great that we're getting games. That's exactly what we all want.
And finally, obviously there's been 1 or 2 leaders gone out of the dressing room for you as well, but an opportunity maybe for some other players now to step up. You still have a fairly settled group around that, but obviously opportunities for others now.
Yeah, look, that's exactly it. Look, obviously you'd love to have the likes of Anne Dalton and Anna Farrell part of the panel, but look, they're gone now, and we're just pushing on. As I said, one door closes, another one opens up, and I can even see it in training. A few girls maybe who were kind of breaking onto the team last year, they look like different players this year. That air of confidence is there a bit more, and look, we're looking for more leaders. There's a couple of girls like Grace Welsh, Marion Welsh now. They're on the team for a long time. They're the main girls now on this team. They're not looking at Anne Dalton's and Anna Farrell's winning the games. They have to stand up and be counted, and we're getting Katie Powers back training with us as well, so she'll be a huge plus to us later on in the year as well. So look, as I said, it's just to find a few extra players on our panel. That's what we want, and the training matches have gone well, but it's up here in Burr that we want to be performing, and I said we wouldn't be happy with 1-8 the last day against Dublin. We'd be hoping for a big improvement on that hopefully today. But look, Offaly are a very good team. I think we all seen that last week against Dublin. They beat Dublin last week, and we struggled to beat Dublin. So look, we know we have to work hard here today to come away with the points, and I suppose there's a safety net there. No matter what happens, even if you win, you could still be in the same boat if you lose. But look, we don't mind that. We just, as I said, we'll be out next week or the week after, and that's what we want.
Best luck for today, Brian.
Thanks, lads.
Our game's about style. We forge our own path forward. Because our style is substance.
And you're welcome back to St Brendan's Park in Burr. As you can see there, the Kilkenny girls down at the town end of the ground here getting ready. Historic venue, of course, St Brendan's Park here in Burr. Literally 20 yards the back end of the pitch is the venue for the very first All-Ireland hurling final. And that was not today or yesterday, but fine venue here, and probably the venue that would be considered the home of hurling and camogie in Offaly. And St Brendan's Park in Burr hosting this opportunity here between Offaly and Kilkenny. Offaly in their brand new kit that got its first outing, of course, a couple of weekends ago against Dublin. So let's start with Kilkenny, as we can see them in our picture, the visitors here in the All-Ireland champions. So starting out in goal will be Emma Kavanagh of the Rower Inishtig. Michelle Tean of St. James Stevens, Davina Tobin of Emeralds, and Colette Dormer, who will be the captain for today of Barrow Rangers. The half-back line, Kellyanne Doyle of Piltown, Claire Phelan of Lisdowney, and Grace Walsh of Tullerone. Centre field will be Niamh Deely of James Stevens and Miriam Bambrick of Barrow Rangers. The half-forward line, Denise Gall of Wingap. It's Mary O'Connell of Clara and Michaela Keneally of Wingap with the number 12 on the back of her jersey. And then the full forward line of Steffi Fitzgerald of Young Ireland's. Miriam Walsh will be on the edge of the square of Tullerone, and Aoife Doyle of Piltown will wear number 15 as they come across here to the stand in front of us. And we will turn to the host then, Offaly, down at the Roscrea end of the ground, and they will line out as follows with one change, and that's in their full forward line. But they will start with Mairead Jennings of Burr in goal, Sarah Walsh of Tullamore, Trina MacDonald of Kilcormac Killoughey, and Lorraine Keena of Kilcormac Killoughey, Amy Byrne of Lusma, Aisling Brennan, the vice captain of St Killian's, and Sharon Shanahan of Shinrone. At centre field it'll be Roisin Egan of St Rynagh's and Orla Kerwin, the captain from Burr. The half-forward line is made up of two Granias. Grania Egan will wear 11 of Shinrone, Grania Dolan of St Rynagh's will wear 12, and wearing 10 is Emma Mulrooney of Kilcormac Killoughey. And in the full forward line we said there is that change, but it's Sarah Harding wearing 13, Kate Kenny of St Rynagh's wearing the full forward shirt, and Siobhan Flannery has been replaced by number 23 Orla Marr, and Orla is of the Shinrone club. So both just over getting the final instructions, Elaine. As we said, it's a real summer's feel about it now today, championship feel, but of course we're still playing league, and really no matter what happens here today, it's not going to decide ultimately what happens next weekend or the weekend after. But I'm sure Brian and I'm sure Susan at the other end wants a good competitive outing.
Yeah, you know, competitive matches, it's a shortened season this year. Competitive matches are going to be hard to come by as regards challenge games or anything. You're kind of limited to your A versus B games, so to get the chance, I suppose, for Offaly to come out and play the All-Ireland champions on their home patch, you know, they won't get a better challenge at this time of the year, so they'll want to be making the most of it. And similarly Kilkenny, you know, they'll be looking to defend their All-Ireland title later in the year, and they need to take every opportunity they can. And a few new faces in there on that Kilkenny team, anxious to obviously put their hand up and force Brian Dowling and his management team maybe to look at them a bit more closely in training for the coming weeks.
And as we know as well, Offaly, as you said, a bit settled. 3 additions from what we saw them against Galway back last year's championship. Aisling Brennan wearing number 6, Orla Kerwin wearing 9, and Kate Kenny wearing 14. Ladies that have been in around the setup before, but of course back in, and Kate Kenny, it seems, committing to one code, and is a fine exponent of the hurley stick as a footballer also, as the sliotar is thrown in by John McDonough as our second weekend seeing John. And it's Offaly that turn it over there with Aisling Brennan sending a long strike down, but it's out over the line here in front of us in the stand, down into very, very corner. And good purpose will start there by Offaly.
Yeah, and a couple of positional changes there. Grace Welch on the middle of the field there on Aisling Brennan, who was named at centre back for Offaly, but has obviously gone to the middle of the field as well. So a couple of changes from the throw in, but good start from Offaly and good intent.
So strong breeze blowing from the Roscrea end, and Kilkenny looking to get out with that from the back there of Michelle Tean, but it went out off a Offaly hurl, and it's going to be another sideline cut. Claire Phelan is lined up to take and gets a good cut on that and knocks it up into the half-back position, but they're trying to get the body over it and hold it up was Roisin Egan, and in there was trying to get a knock on it, Michaela Keneally, but she seems to got a bit of a slap through somehow.
Yeah, I think just blocked the ball maybe and got hit with the swing or the follow through of the hurl just into the side of the head, so just a little bit of concern at the moment, but
we could hear the slap from here. So just, I suppose, a little bit of ringing of the cheek or the face or the ear, just being tended to by the physio.
Yeah, and that's one of the frees, obviously, or one of the injuries this year that there's a lot of focus on any head injury, and obviously John willing to give, you know, plenty of time for Michaela and for the medical team to have a look at her and get her back on her feet, which I have no doubt but that she will.
She's up and going anyway, Michaela Keneally of the Wingap Club, as her marker Amy Byrne of Lusma gets a cut on this. We've 3 cuts already from the sideline, and one better than the other as Claire Phelan cuts it off now and gives it to Colette Dormer, captain for today. But that looked like it was a foul there committed on her, and it was, as Offaly were just about to take a swing at it there with Grania Egan. Offaly, I'm sure, will be conscious with that breeze behind them, Elaine, maybe to get a couple of points on Kilkenny here.
Yeah, and it was a calm enough day as we came into the ground, but the breeze definitely has picked up in the last couple of minutes there, and Offaly, as you said, will be looking to take advantage of it now for the first 30 minutes.
So trying to break out with it there now. Roisin Egan back there helping out, trying to get in there. Sharon Shanahan as well. Mary O'Connell was trying to get in there, but it's been dug out by Offaly, but it's again been turned over. Grace Walsh looking to swing around here. Has been helped out. It's Gall looking to knock it into the corner. Opportunity maybe might accrue for Kilkenny with an opening score of the game that's gone over the bar, and that is a good score. I think Mary O'Connell was the one eventually that got on it, and good interlink of play between Denise Gall and Mary O'Connell.
Yeah, ball Offaly will be a little bit disappointed with. They didn't do a little bit better with the clearance on it. It was hanging around there for a while, but great vision from Gall to pick out Mary O'Connell. Lucky it wasn't intercepted, but a great score from Mary and great confidence boost for her starting at centre forward today.
Yes, sat in the pocket as we have another sideline cut here, and it's Claire Field getting this ball inside, looking for the point score there. Mary O'Connell giving it across field now. Going to be opportunity to get a strike off there by Steffi Fitzgerald, but it's been cut out, and Aisling Brennan knocks the ball into the middle. Knocking it long now with Sharon Shannon down into the corner, looking for the lady that's come in. Siobhan Orlamar, she's in place of Siobhan Flannery at St. Rina's, but it's Bill now from the back now with Dormer, looking to knock it long over here towards Keneally. Gets a shove in the back for expenses there with Amy Byrne. Amy Byrne is being helped out by Roisin Egan. Ball is on the ground though, and it's could be anyone's. Mary O'Connell trying to get in. There's a foot on the ball. John McDonough is going to wait and see how it plays out. Keneally comes out with a like scoop across here towards Grace Walsh. Grace, of course, got a point in the All-Ireland final. Won't get a point there off that, but was still getting it into the danger area. Back out it goes to O'Connell. O'Connell is a 2 from 2. Mary O'Connell sitting in the pocket. Lovely score from 45.
Yeah, again a really well worked score from Kilkenny. The minute that ball was played inside, heads up, looking out for the run coming from deep, and there was two options there. Mary O'Connell and Michaela Keneally were both running in on it, and Mary O'Connell happy to take the little pop pass and get her name on the scoreboard for a second time.
Mairead Jennings on a ground that you would know quite well. 5 lads standing on a scaffold over the wall there, keeping an eye on the action here. Lads are mad to watch. I heard people asking at the gate, any chance we could get in?
Well, shortly now, and hopefully, as we said, good news during the week on crowds for Camogie.
And here's another opportunity for O'Connell. And Mary O'Connell is threatening to shoot the lights out here.
I spoke to Brian Dowling beforehand, and he said she was flying and training during the week, and he quickly said, but don't quote me on that. But I think Mary O'Connell has coached him on herself there now. Great start for her at centre forward. Well,
they're going to have to work something quickly there. Kilkenny going into a 3 points to no score lead then. And we're only gone over 5 minutes here. Ball caught by Grace Walsh, kept her eye on it the whole way. You wouldn't think that Kilkenny were the ones playing into the breeze here, but ball played forward now, trying to get it towards Steffi Fitzgerald, and young Ireland's player getting inside. Lorraine Keane is still going. Steffi, shot! Oh, what a go off the post! That looked like it was just nestling in between the flag and the upright, but it was a square then I think called. It was a foul there committed John McDonough. I thought that was in the net the way.
Yeah, and it was Aoife Doyle actually broke through on it, and as you recall, she had a very similar one in the All-Ireland final last year and blazed it over the bar, so you know she was going to make no mistake about that one. Aimed to nestle it straight into the corner, but just off the post, and relief for Offaly.
Relief for Offaly, because that ball should have been nestling there. Just the way that it came back off the upright as the ball went in there towards Miriam Walsh, and she was fouled. The referee says it's going to be a free in. So Kilkenny really have come out of the blocks here and starting with a good bit of purpose.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think they would have been too happy with their performance against Dublin, as we said beforehand. You know, they got the win all right, but the performance probably wasn't fantastic, and probably, you know, a little bit of Brian Dowling maybe ringing in their ears today now to try and right that. And look, it's a perfect day for Camogie, and I think the experience of the Kilkenny players and their experience of playing together is really shown at the moment. You know, they're knitting some really good passages of play together.
So Offaly go short with that, and Trina McDonald looking to get it out towards Orla Kerwin. Kerwin, again, a player that will know this ground quite well, but Offaly haven't been able to get inside the Kilkenny 45 apart from the opening stages when a ball was delivered in by Aisling Brennan, went out over the sideline. That'll tell you the pressure that Kilkenny have put Offaly under in the last 5 or 6 minutes here. And as we said, we're only about 7 minutes on. 4 points to no score. It is the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League Division 1 Group 3 encounter. Top of the table clash. Both these sides already in the quarter-finals. And even if you win, you're not guaranteed a semi-final, because of course the draw takes place for the semi-final places. 2 group winners will go into the semi-finals, 1 group winner will go into the quarter-finals with the 3 runners-up. And it will be Dublin, Clare and whoever else that will be looking for matches between now and the championship, as this ball breaks and it's sent in by Keneally. This ball is dropping in there, got to be careful. Walsh is in, snaffling an opportunity. Miriam Walsh! And Kilkenny mean business here.
Yeah, absolutely. A shot for a point probably from Michaela Keneally. Looked to be dropping out wide, but just held up on the goal line there. And Marion Welch, quickest in on the break, did really well to rise it quickly, get it into her hand. Probably in old style rules would have been thinking maybe of dropping the hurling hand pass on it in, but manoeuvred her way around the defender and shot straight to the top of the net. And as you said, Kilkenny really mean purpose here.
Which you'd have to say to the Offaly defence there, there was 3 players around Miriam Walsh, and she had to do an awful lot of physical work to be able to get in that shot. They should have done better. Yeah,
she probably got the ball into her hand too easily altogether on the edge of the square like that. I mean, the first thing you'd be saying is don't let her get it into her hand, and if it's on the ball then or on the ground, at least then you can contest for it. But once Miriam Welch gets the ball in her hand that close to the goal, she's a strong, powerful player. She's going to round you, and the alternative then is either pull her down or she gets her shot away, and on that occasion she got her shot away.
Miriam Walsh seemed to get a little bit of a knock. The physio's out there tending to her. John McDonough's holding play up until that's sorted out. But it's really like maybe Kilkenny have come here with a bit of purpose on their mind, and that maybe putting Offaly back in their box a little bit if they thought that their win against Dublin was putting them out there on show a little bit.
Yeah, I think Kilkenny's work rate was really something that stood out for me last year, and it's something I think Brian Dowling and his management team have brought to the setup. And you could hear him on one of the last Offaly puckouts there demanding his players turn the ball over, turn it over, and that's what they've done time and time again, is they've pinned Offaly into their own half of the field on every given opportunity.
Be interesting to see how Offaly react here now. Emma Mulrooney, of course, former minor star, looking to get this ball into her hand. Kilcormac Killahy woman though misses the second time, gets it the third time, and looking to step inside Claire Phelan and Grace Walsh. That's not an easy pair. They're all stars, and Emma Mulrooney trying to do that, and she hasn't unfortunately succeeded. Yeah,
in a real case of the experience versus the youth there. I think Emma went to row lifted on the first occasion, and Claire got the hand in and got the knock away on it. And Claire's a really tricky player like that, really experienced and so skillful, so showed all their guile there between the two of them.
Yeah, no question is that ball was not back. Wasn't a great sideline cut by Clare, but it was enough to get it to Colette Dormer. The Dormer delivered long, but it is being cut out here and it's going to be turned inside. And Roisin Egan, I don't think she meant to get it to Kate Kenny. Kate Kenny has a strike. The ball is gone over the bar. Umpire, I think, was nearly taken shock by it as well. But Kate Kenny eventually had to be knocked over the bar there by Emma Kavanagh, and something for Offaly, I suppose. Yeah, great score from just inside her own 65, and as I said, a strong enough breeze behind her there, but the opportunity presented and wasn't afraid to open her shoulders and have a shot, and she is floating out around the middle of the field there now, and Kellyanne Doyle maybe picking her up outside, so a huge match up there. Good bit of play over on the far side there by Sarah Walsh, and ball is sent up along the wing, and looking for a little bit of movement here with Sarah Harding battling away there, but it looks like getting out with it there is Teen. Ball is left a little bit slack, and eventually it's going to be Kilkenny recycling it down along the wing. Mary O'Connell trying to get there, but Mary being picked up a little bit more closely, I think, by Roisin Egan than maybe it had been before. And Orla Kerwin gets a knock on this ball, gets it to Aisling Brennan down along the wing, but Dormer is there to be able to cut that ball out and knock it down in the direction of Denise Gall. Goes over her head and Sarah Walsh's, but picking it up, and Amy Byrne came across the field there to win that and gets it into the hand here of Sharon Shanahan, giving it off now, and it's Egan bursts out beyond Mary O'Connell and then pops the pass here. It's Kate Kenny now giving it off, might have 14 on her back, but it's going to be a strike coming in. Not a great one, but it could hop on the edge of the 4G surface, and we talked about that before the match, how a hop of a sliotar and that could go anywhere. Yeah, it's a hugely dangerous time for a goalie, I suppose, especially with a high ball like that dropping in. I suppose maybe not so bad today, given that the day is dry and the ground is hard anyway. Aoife Doyle got that ball inside here towards Keneally, but the ball breaks out uncharacteristically. Back it goes towards Aoife Doyle. She had a strike from a tight angle, and that's the first wide of the game for Aoife Doyle. And it's helter-skelter here now in the last few minutes. 12 minutes gone, 1-4 to a point.
Yeah, and Aoife Doyle with her second shot of the day and their second shot off the pole, the opposite pole on this occasion. But Offaly definitely have gotten into the game in the last few minutes there, and they've started to string some good passages of play together and work a few passes up the field. And they're finishing maybe not quite there yet, but definitely have got more of a foothold in the game in the last few minutes.
Starting to put a few passes together. That's maybe all important for them. As Grania Dolan down the far side now, looking to get it in here towards Orla Mar. Orla, wearing 23, is in for Siobhan Flannery, but it's being cut out there at the back by Davina Tobin. Ball played across the field then by Colette Dormer. Dormer looking to find Keneally. Keneally used her body very well there to hold off Amy Byrne. That's been an interesting duel in the early stages here. Yeah. Denise Gall out in front of Sarah Walsh, playing it into the corner, looking for movement out of Miriam Walsh. Walsh settling off of and throwing off Trina MacDonald in towards the post, and that is a fine score, is it? No. Umpires took a while to consider it, and it's gone to the left and wide.
Yeah, it was a really, really well worked score though from Davina Tobin's interception at the back to Colette Dormer, the lovely ball up in front of Michaela Keneally here, and as you said, a great battle going on between herself and Amy Byrne here, and Michaela left the ball, beat them and turned, and then the little intricate interplay over eventually to Miriam on the far left hand side, but the shot just didn't quite come off, went just to the left, and it was tight. The umpires, they had to consult one another about it, but great build up play from Kilkenny, and I think that's probably what will please Brian Dowling most with that move.
Again, another stoppage as the Offaly physio is in this time. 1-4 to 1. We've had a few stoppages now with various different things. We will have a water break, of course, coming up. But it is the All-Ireland champions Kilkenny, who didn't have a great performance against Dublin the first day out. And then they saw Offaly go up and record a fine win over Dublin then 2 weeks ago. 1-4 to a point, and now we're in a situation here that Kilkenny are well in front and look like they're in control as that ball goes straight to Kilkenny. Is going to have a pop opportunity here now for Denise Gall, dropping it in and dropping it over the bar. Good bit of play by Steffi Fitzgerald, took it on the charge and then was able to offload it to Denise. Easy score.
Yeah, really, really well caught puck out from Steffi Fitzgerald. I think that's just where Offaly are struggling at the moment. They're just failing to gather their own puck outs, and under that kind of pressure inside their own half back line. And as I say that, Kate Kenny comes and collects a wonderful one from her goalkeeper Marie Jennings.
Kate Kenny knocking this ball down now. Offaly have a few numbers here, an opportunity maybe for Grania Egan. Egan flicking the ball inside. It could be still an opportunity here for Offaly. That looked like a bit of a trip there, but referee said no, that was part of the clearance. And the Offaly girls didn't remonstrate with him anyway, and the ball is out here, but it's caught well by Amy Byrne. And as he said, that's a right tussle between herself and Keneally at the moment. Over to the far side though. She was expecting Grania Dolan to get it, but it's an easy pick up there over on the far side for Kilkenny, and up along the wing it goes. Niamh Deely getting over there and delivering it, but it's Kilkenny who've given that ball away, and it's the other number 8, Roisin Egan, that's going to deliver it down into the corner. She's looking for Orla Mar to get out in front, and that's probably been a part of the problem for Offaly. Their forwards are just not out in front.
No, and Kate Kenny is probably the one dangerous one, and as we said, she's come out around the middle of the field to gather possession, but when she's putting it in there, and credit to that Kilkenny full back line, Davina Tobin, Colette Dormer and Michelle Tean, they're out in front on every occasion, and when they look up then they have the outplay to Claire Phelan, Grace Welch and Kellyanne Doyle outside them. So that 6 Kilkenny backs really, really experienced back there, and well used to playing together, and I think they're certainly showing that they're breaking up any Offaly attack that does come that way.
John McDonough calling the water break a little bit early. It can be any time between the 15th and 18th minute, of course, but it's practically on the early side of it. And maybe Offaly will be glad that the water break is called, I suppose, at the earliest stage it can be.
Yeah, I suppose maybe the hot day taking its toll on everyone. It's the first hot day we've had in a long while, so maybe John just as glad as anyone else to get a drop of water after the 15 minutes. But yeah, Offaly started poorly, I suppose, on the back foot straight away from Kilkenny, and Kilkenny really, really went at them, but got into the game on occasions there in that first 15 minutes, but really have been playing second fiddle to Kilkenny for most of it and chasing that game. Like we said, they're struggling to gather their own puck outs and to gather possession from that, and when you're playing ball in your own half the field with forwards the likes of Denise Gall and Mary O'Connell in the form she's on today, and then you have the physical presence of Michaela Keneally and Marion Welch on there again, it's hard to build up anything out around the middle of the field when you can't get out past your own 45.
Looking at a lot of them there, they're quite glad at the drink of water. I know there was people saying maybe this water break needs to be done away with, but maybe judging by everything here today, it was glad to be able to get it as we watch the early chance there for Miriam Walsh as she dispossessed ultimately the backs, and the thoughts of Mairead Jennings coming out, and then she just fired it to the back of the net. Good goal.
Yeah, a ball that looked probably like it was going wide, and maybe Mairead Jennings watched it a bit too casually, as if it was dropping off wide. But as we said, Miriam probably gained possession a little bit too easily at this level, and like you said, when she gets it into her hand in there, she's not going to miss from the edge of the square.
Sideline cut then over on the far side. The clock was stopped here in the stadium, but as we know for Camogie, the clock stays on during the water break, and it's roughly about 2 minutes or thereabouts that will be added along with the stoppages. So I'd say we're going to have about anywhere between 3 to 4 minutes of added time as Claire Phelan steps inside well and links up with Grace Walsh. Walsh didn't really catch that well and cursed herself after she hit it, but Offaly have turned it over here, and Aisling Brennan seems to have all the touches, Aisling Brennan, but she gives it away to the other number 6 who has all the touches in Claire Phelan. Ball is knocked forward, and it's a good bit of play back there by the Offaly defence again, turning the ball over. As ball is knocked forward.
Yeah, and a lovely bit of fielding so far. Claire Phelan did really well with that last one, high in the air, and Offaly fielding again from that occasion. So hotly contested contest out there.
So it's Brian Down and Tommy Shefflin having words, I think, with, is it maybe the Mayor Ferna, was it on the far side, was it to get a come on over here to Denise Gall, I think it was.
Yeah, Ray Chandler just not working hard enough for Brian Down and Tommy Shefflin, and when they shout, you move.
Looking to get involved in the play, he was there at one stage, as this ball is knocked long, but it's a bad wide from a Kilkenny point of view when you consider the way, it was very intricate there, their movement, but a bad wide in a way.
Yeah, and maybe, Neely could possibly have shot that ball from herself. She probably was in a scoreable position and tried to play it into the corner, but probably overplayed it.
The ball breaks out, and Walsh linking up with Gall. Gall stepping left and right, and comes in here. All opportunity now to pop the ball off for maybe Miriam Bambrick. Bambrick giving it to Keneally. Referee says there's a foul committed there, and there's going to be a free in. Claire Phelan picking up Emma Mulrooney at the moment, and Claire has been in the game an awful lot. Looks like there's a bit of an Offaly switch happening, and looks like Miriam Bambrick now is picking up young Emma Mulrooney, as that ball is put in and over the bar by Denise Gall.
Yeah, I think Emma Mulrooney was the vice captain of the Offaly Minors last year, and a huge ask going on a player of the experience and the calibre of Claire Phelan, and maybe Offaly feel that they might get a little bit more change from Emma Mulrooney on that side, and Kate Kenny over here now on Claire Phelan might ask some different questions of Claire Phelan.
Ball breaking down there now, and Offaly looking to dig it out. Susan Erner and Audrey Kennedy urging them on, and that could be a good opportunity at a score, and that's a good bit of play there by Offaly straight away, putting the head down, getting it dug out there in a bit of a fight, and won their own ball eventually and put it over the bar.
Yeah, and that'll be the really pleasing thing, I think, is that they won a real dirty ball over there and were able to convert it then when the opportunity presented itself, and Susan Erner will definitely be more pleased with that.
Yeah, fine score from Aisling Brennan as a Offaly player ends up on the deck there. Aisling getting in and digging out a dirty ball, as we said, and Rowe lifting it up to herself and putting it over the bar with the wind behind her, but Offaly needing something now, as look like the Offaly player is down injured, and judging by the physio maybe suggesting it's a wrist injury, and Michaela Keneally, she's saying she couldn't have done a whole lot, I don't think. I think the physio might have been giving her a little bit of lip, but I don't think the Offaly management had a whole lot of issue. It just happened to be part of the play, maybe.
I think it might have been a little bit off the ball, and I did see Susan Erner maybe giving a shout at some occasion, but I don't think John McDonough or his linesman and the fourth official is here on this side as well, and I don't think they're overly concerned by it, but just getting a bit of a word in his ear maybe.
Well, it has been an interesting tussle between the two of them.
We had highlighted, all right, that it was going to be, or was manifesting into a bit of a physical battle there. And, you know, in fairness, it had been toe to toe up till then. And I think that's what John McDonough is going to recognise, that, you know, two players going full tilt at it. And
I think there's a bit of a chastising talk going on there by the looks of things. I'm not sure there's going to be any card or anything like that, but he's having a word anyway. Because I'm not sure any of the officials saw what happened, so I suppose it's the only option really.
yeah, it's the classic. I don't know what happened, but I know something happened, so I'm going to keep an eye on it.
Ball played by Phelan, but Kilkenny have been turned over there, and Offaly definitely grown into the game.
Yeah, definitely they have, and they haven't let Kilkenny, you know, impose themselves much. They're still failing to kind of make any real inroads up in the forwards, where the Kilkenny backs are still very much on top down there. But certainly they have limited Kilkenny's scoring chances and put a lot more pressure on them in the forwards.
Ball looks like it's going to be won there by Emma Mulrooney, and she's fouled, says the referee. And just as it looked like Orla Maher was about to get away, and I think he was right though, the whistle had gone. And a chance here now for Grania Egan. And Grania, you know, credit maybe the Kilkenny backs. She hasn't had a shot at goal in the opening stages here, and we know she scored 3-5 against Dublin.
Yeah, no, the Kilkenny backs, as I said, you know, a real experienced outfit back there, and really good at closing down their players, and like we mentioned already, out in front. And you know, Offaly haven't had that much possession in hand in their Kilkenny backs have been coming out with most of them in front, so you know, really limiting the Offaly opportunities.
Yeah, Grania Egan puts that ball up and over the bar though for her first score of the game, and it comes here just on the 24th minute mark. 1-6-3 then, and definitely Offaly playing that a little bit better, but an opportunity now maybe to put them to the pin of their collar again here by the Kilkenny forwards, but the backs have done well there. Shanahan linking up well with Aisling Brennan. Brennan out here, but it's picked up by the other number 6, Claire Phelan, linking up with Walsh. Lovely step inside the number 12, Grania Dolan. Ball is sent forward here. Keneally out in front of her marker, looking to play it inside. Lovely pass. Shot off now from Walsh. But it's more trouble to Tesco than it is to the umpire. And it's out to the right and wide.
Yeah, but Grace really picking up where she left off from last year in midfield. You know, she's constantly running there. She was off Claire Phelan's shoulder for that last pass, and a previous one with Denise Gall. So, you know, she's providing options for players that are in possession.
Colette Dormer played that very well off the ground because she knew she was going to be hooked. Got it back from Niamh Deely and knocks it up along the wing. Mary O'Connell, who got 3 scores in the opening 6 minutes here, has been held pretty much since. Getting it over here towards Michaela Keneally, and Michaela's been going through the wars, and she now has Trina McDonald on her back.
Yeah, and I think that's her third free to have won. You know, she's really a really tough, strong, physical player, and not afraid to put herself in harm's way, and you know, working really hard for Kilkenny there at the moment. And as I said, I think this is her third free that she has earned for her clubmate Denise Gall. So
Denise Gall will be aiming, I would imagine, at one of those pane glass windows in the Tesco store behind the ground here. And has a strike at that right over the black spot, and a good score from Denise Gall. 4 points she has now.
Yeah, and it just shows, I suppose, you know, Offaly, I've said, have been working hard and they have been making inroads up there, but just not getting their scores maybe as easily as Kilkenny are.
That's it, like they're just not committing fouls, the Kilkenny backs at the moment, as the ball is knocked out here towards Grania Dolan, the St. Rynagh's player. Well played there, gets out between 2 Kilkenny players and putting the head down and going away from Claire Phelan. Grace Walsh coming across, she looks to step inside. Well, she might have got by Phelan, she wasn't getting beyond either Kellyanne Doyle or Grace Walsh. And well, just to show you a good half back line there for Kilkenny at that moment, as trying to flick that ball up into her hand was Niamh Deely, but the ball has been taken away, and playing well is Aisling Brennan, but the referee says she fouled that ball. And good play by the Kilkenny backs there.
Yeah, stood her up and gave her no opportunity to go forward. I suppose aware that she was going to be probably blown for over carrying it, just literally threw it away to get rid of possession, and really good defending from Kilkenny back there.
Claire Phelan, long ball, looking to play it into the middle, looking for a bit of a run out with Steffi Fitzgerald, but it's well cut out there by the Offaly backs and playing it forward now. Good stick work there by Grania Egan, looking to step inside and play it down quickly towards Orla Maher. Maher looking to get inside the Kilkenny defence. Ball goes loose there. Davina Tobin still hassling and harrying in there. Dormer comes across, throws her body. Looked like a bit of a legal move, but the referee sees nothing wrong with it, and it's cleared there by Bambrick. Down along the wing it goes. Steffi Fitzgerald maybe in an opportunity to get there, but it looks like it's going to be the number 8, Roisin Egan, that knocks the ball ball down towards Sharon Shanahan, the Shinrone player, eventually looking to step inside. Loads of alliteration being used in her name and her club. Ball across the field here now. Grania Dolan looking to step away from the attentions of Gall, still holding it on the edge of the hurl. Kate Kenny got a long one from distance, 65 out, knocking the ball down into the full forward position, but Davina Tobin keeping her eye on that ball, comes out with it and knocks it over to the far side of the field here. Keneally trying to get up, but the ball is taken down by Amy Byrne, but Keneally gets in on the break. Byrne gets back again and does it very, very well. Byrne stepping towards the stand side, back towards the third side, giving the ball into the middle now. Orla Kerwin going to have a shot from distance. This will be some score if it went over. It's going to drop on the edge of the square, coming across to try and get her hand on it there. Michelle Teen let it fall the first time, knocks it up along the wing on the far side, stepping into a little bit of space now. Opportunity. Niamh Deely has Bambrick inside, but elects to go long. Ball in here now towards O'Connell, but it's cut out there by Egan. Looking to lock the long ball in here again. It's Kerwin stepping on it, looking to play it low. Grace Walsh threw everything at her there to block that ball off. Kerwin still with it, going to pick it up now, move with it. Grania Dolan stepping away from Phelan and from Walsh, but she doesn't get beyond Kellyanne Doyle. Ball is on the break and it's been helter-skelter for the last few minutes, and eventually a foul committed and it's a free for Kilkenny.
Yeah, great passage of play there up and down the field, and great defending and attacking on both sides. Grania Dolan has definitely posed a different kind of a threat to Claire Phelan on this left half, on this left wing, since she moved over here, and she's done really well to gain a bit of possession and showed a clean pair of heels on a couple of occasions. But Kilkenny doing really well, I suppose, to get Kellyanne Doyle back in that pocket, and she's held up her progress at any stage that she has. But Offaly definitely coming into the game now, and as I said, not letting Kilkenny maybe dictate as much as they had done for that first 15-20 minutes.
Still talk about Kellyanne Doyle though. What a 2020 that she had to suffer a cruciated injury down in Páirc Uí Rinn on what turned out to be the last day of camogie before the first lockdown, to make it back to compete in an All-Ireland final and to have such a performance that she did that day. And as we said, would have been rehabbing cruciate probably just after an operation around this time last year, and out there now, and you'd never know she was anyway suffering an injury. Not
at all, no. A fantastic player and a real athlete, I suppose. Plenty of athletics in her background, but really stormed into that Kilkenny team when she came back into it. And as we know, such a cruel injury and such a long road back to recovery. But I suppose Kellyanne made little of it last year. I was in Páirc Uí Rinn on that really miserable day when she did that injury, and you thought, that's it for 2020 for her. But to get back, I suppose, and helped in a small way, maybe a little bit by COVID, with everything being pushed out a little bit, she was able to get back in within the calendar year. But a huge testament to a player to be able to do that kind of recovery on her own and get back to an All-Ireland final, and as you said, play such a key part in it.
Phenomenal effort. Denise Gall puts this ball then over the bar, because Michaela McKeneally is, as we said, having a ding-dong battle with Amy Byrne, and don't think the girls will be sending Christmas cards to each other the way things are going at the moment.
No, that last ball down between them there was worth, the admission price alone if you'd paid it coming in. There was flicks and twists and a little bit of physicality before the ball comes in, and it's a great battle there.
Two stubborn ladies not giving an inch either way as this ball is played forward. Now Egan out in front of Dormer there, looking to flick the ball inside, but the pass wasn't really on. Gets it at the second time, plays it very tight down into the corner, looking for maybe Mulrooney. Mulrooney doesn't get it away though. Bambrick does to O'Connell. As we said, O'Connell got 3 scores in the first 6 minutes, knocking it down towards goal here. She'll only need 1 sniff, but it's good cut out there by Lorraine Keane, the Killarney Calahi woman, doing it very, very well, and the ball is going to be knocked out here. Kerwin looking to knock it long. This is a dangerous ball now. Player in behind, it's Kenny looking to get a hand on the ball, but Dormer is there. Ball might break still though. Kenny going the second time. Look, she got a nudge from Davina Tobin. McDonough said nothing wrong, and it's going to be cleared by Bambrick. That was a chance.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the game plan Offaly seem to be operating as, is keeping it short around the middle of the field, and then maybe lofting a high ball in, trying to isolate players on the edge of the square there. And
here's Harding. Catches it well. Harding looking to step inside, maybe overstepped it, has to go back on her left hand side. Is Straught. The referee said it's going to be a free. Maybe a soft free then in a way. I think she was fouled further in some ways.
Yeah, it was probably the original one after she had made the initial catch. I think maybe the hurl was pulled back a little bit in her hand, and once she'd pivoted, I thought the chance was there again. But John happy to call it back for the free, and a little bit more purpose about Offaly up front there now. I think they're playing it short, as I said, and the long ball in then to the 2 inside, and they reaped dividends from it last week against Dublin.
Gráinne Egan quite happy to tap the ball over the bar despite the presence of the Kilkenny backs, Michelle Teen and Colette Dormer inside along Emma Kavanagh. So Gráinne Egan has got her second point, and we're now on the 31st minute. We don't know, we didn't see any board go up to suggest how long there is, but there was 2 minutes of water, and I'd say there's definitely 2 minutes stoppage, so going to be playing a little bit longer. 1-8-4 then it is. You're watching the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League Division 1 Group 3 encounter between Kilkenny and Offaly, and we're live on the Littlewoods Ireland GA Twitter account and also on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. As you'll see the fourth official and the linesman in front of us. The fourth official, I'm sure we might keep a camera on the fourth official just to see the time going up there in a moment. He's going to wait until the play continues. He'll probably do it as this sideline cut is taken by Aisling Brennan. Aisling Brennan looking to knock this ball long. 3 minutes it says, and well, by our clock we're already 2 minutes in, but we'll go by John McDonough, what he plays. As the ball knocked long, and it looked like Byrne was going to win that, but Keneally came in behind and was looking to get a swing at it, but the ball breaks back. Keneally has it at the second time of asking, looking for a clubmate maybe with elects to go along and find the Tullaroan's Miriam Walsh, but that's been cut out there. And Offaly, I have to say, doing very, very well, but Bambrick is in there ahead of her, Mulrooney. Miriam Bambrick looking to hold the ball off. Mulrooney getting in there, trying to tackle. Looked like she was doing it illegally, but the ball has popped off and it's given to Niamh Deely. Deely down into the corner now, looking for Miriam Walsh, looking to get away from Trina MacDonald. Walsh is still going now, has a goal to her name already. Look at the pop a pass. Here's a chance for O'Connell. Had 3 points to her name in the first 6. Shot from O'Connell. It's gone out to the right and wide. Goal chance was probably there. It should have been the first chance, maybe, not the second time.
Yeah, I think Mary O'Connell, realised that and looked up, but just out of the corner of her eye saw Lorraine Keane coming across to her and maybe hesitated for that split second, and that just took her focus off the goal and allowed her shot to go wide. But, credit Offaly there. Once Marion Welch had turned, they got the numbers back, got them in front of the goal, and were able to prove the distraction there to Mary O'Connell to stop her getting a decent shot in.
Steffi getting this ball inside now. Loads of time for Mary O'Connell. She started the half well. Is she going to finish it well? That ball had to be taken away just from the edge of the corner by Mairead Jennings, and this ball might break out here. Looks like Offaly might be able to deal with it here. Lorraine Keane trying to get in there and still win it. Aoife Doyle. Ball breaks though, and Sarah Walsh popping the ball off. Tackles coming in aplenty. Been a right helter-skelter with the Offaly backs and the Kilkenny forwards as this ball knocked forward by Amy Byrne is taken away from Grania Egan, and it's played inside now. Steffi Fitzgerald with 2 players around her. Sharon Shanahan trying to get in there as well and dig in as well. Kate Kenny, haven't got to see a whole lot of Kate. She's out around the middle, looks a little bit lost on occasion, I have to say, and maybe she'll be more a danger a little bit top of the D, I would think.
Yeah, and what that's allowing is it's allowing either Kellyanne Doyle or Claire Phelan to be free on nearly every occasion in the Kilkenny half back line. So, if Offaly are working it short and if a pass doesn't go straight to hand, they're there to mop up straight away.
Well played there by Amy Byrne, getting the ball out here to Roisin Egan. Eventually it's gone out through the hands and the aforementioned Kenny sidesteps there the opportunity of Niamh Deely. Ball is inside now, going to be played on by Grania Dolan. Dolan will Offaly finish on a strong. Dormer looking all the skill, let the sliotar roll down off the hurley down into the way of Kellyanne Doyle, but the ball breaks and Dolan's in there to pick it up. Looked like a throw. No, said the referee. Yes, he eventually does pick it up there, and Offaly did have numbers. And then would you believe a situation where the 2 helmets came interlocked?
I was wondering
That's how close they were getting each other.
I was wondering why the players weren't backing up. Dormer did really, really well there to stand up Emma Mulrooney, and suddenly the play had gone on and the players hadn't moved. But yeah, again, like we said there, Dormer using all her experience to take that ball down to the waiting Kellyanne Doyle.
Lovely ball here. Opportunity to play it inside now by Gall. Walsh is inside trying to get away from MacDonald. Won't need a second time of asking. Has it in her hand. Looking to step around now. Miriam looking to hold it up. Mary O'Connell is getting in there. Being tracked all the way now by Sarah Walsh. O'Connell turns onto her right hand side and puts it over the bar. Great play Mary O'Connell. Good play Miriam Walsh as well.
Yeah, and credit to Trina MacDonald and Roisin Egan as well. Held up Miriam Welch inside. Miriam, I would imagine, would have had goal on her mind when she got the ball in possession in there, but did really well to pick out Mary O'Connell outside her, and she finishes the half as she started at 4 points to her name from centre forward. Yeah,
so Mary O'Connell, as we mentioned, probably things not falling for her too much in that half hour there, but has 4 points to her name, and as we mentioned to you, the goal as well coming from Miriam Walsh, all-star full forward, getting a goal here this afternoon. And it's Kilkenny who came out of the traps very, very strong, you'd have to say, Elaine, in the opening quarter, and threatened maybe to go further and further ahead.
Yeah, they looked to have Offaly on the rack there very early, and we said, Mary O'Connell had stormed into the game and they really had pinned Offaly into that half of the field. But, credits to Offaly, they came back into it just coming up to that water break, and maybe, after the water break, Kilkenny scored 4 since the water break, and Offaly have replied with 3. So, they're definitely closer to them since that water break, and they've gotten to the pitch of the game. But Kilkenny's still just able to get their scores that little bit easier. I suppose Offaly playing a lot of short ball around the middle of the field, and, when you have the likes of Grace Welch, Claire Phelan, Kellyanne Doyle there sweeping up, and they have the likes of Denise Gall and Michaela Keneally then swarming in on breaks. So, it's a hard physical game to play around the middle of the field, to play it short like that. But it's obviously the game plan Susan Erner and her management team are working on. And as I said, it worked last week against Dublin. They played it short around the middle and then long balls into that full forward line, and they got the goals last week. The Kilkenny defence is obviously a lot meaner this week, and they're cleaning up a lot of those balls, be it low ball in or high ball into the air. But as we said, that's a very experienced Kilkenny full back line and half back line, and I think they're showing that there with that Offaly tactic.
Interesting conversation happening between the 5 wise men from the Offaly management, and you just wonder what's going through their head. They're obviously quite, would be quite happy with lots of their play, but I'm sure they're a little bit worried since the water break in some ways.
Yeah, look, they're a team of winners there. Philly Larkin, Pat O'Neill, Tommy Shefflin, Brian Dowling, they know what they're talking about. But certainly I think, they'll be happy enough to be ahead. They've shown good sparks. I suppose it's still early year when you're defending All-Ireland champions. You're playing the long game really. You're looking towards championship, but you're trying to build, and I suppose you're looking at players the likes of Mary O'Connell getting a chance here today at centre forward, and she's really put her hand up there with her 4 scores from play, and that's what you need. I think Aoife Doyle provided that last year for Kilkenny in the All-Ireland final, came up with I think was it 4 points as well, and you need a player like that to show up in a year, and especially this year I suppose when you're trying to replace the likes of Anne Dalton, Anna Farrell maybe around the middle of the field. So huge experience in that Kilkenny backroom team and huge hurling experience, which I think is what really showed with Kilkenny last year.
Yeah, so you can see the Kilkenny girls there sitting down having a sup of water, as so the Offaly girls, as we see the goal opportunity here that you'd have to credit Miriam Walsh. She never gave up on, got in there and was able to rob Trina MacDonald and then burst through 2 of the defence, and with Maria Jennings on her line where she had to be, she was able to put the ball into the back of the net, and that really set things up, because as you said, since the water break it's been even Steven. It's 4 points to 3. The goal, really, I would imagine that opening quarter that Kilkenny put in, I suppose a little bit of the cherry on top as well, that goal.
Yeah, it gave them that little cushion, I suppose, and it pushed them that 3 points ahead of Offaly, that Offaly have had to work so hard for their scores. A goal was always going to be a big score in the game, and they've been able to tack on the couple of points after it as well. But Miriam again did really, really well. You probably initially have been critical that maybe she didn't just whip on it on the ground on her right hand side when the opportunity presented itself. But as we said, she's a strong physical player, and once she got the ball into her hand there, something probably Susan Erner will be, as a goalkeeper herself, will probably be a little bit disappointed about, that Miriam was allowed to gain possession so easily in there and pose the threat that she did. But when she got it, she was making no mistake about it.
No mistake indeed, but as we said to you, 1-5 to a point. That opening quarter salvo from Kilkenny is the reason ultimately that they lead here by 1-9 to 4 points. But since the water break, it's been that little bit tighter, with Kilkenny just about nudging matters in front at 4 points to 3. So Denise Gall with 5, Mary O'Connell with a 4, and the goal from Miriam Walsh is the Kilkenny scores. The points coming from Offaly, from Aisling Brennan, 2 from Grán Egan, and a point also from Kate Kenny. We're going to take a break from the moment here from St Brendan's Park in Burr, but for the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League Division 1 Group 3 encounter, it is Kilkenny who lead their Leinster rivals by 1-9 to Offaly's 4 points.
Our game is about more than sacrifice. Our game's about style.
Camogie is the fastest field sport in the world.
In our game, we play and create with flair.
Push, all the way through, really good.
We break records, smash ceilings, and shatter expectations. We live with our own expression. We turn our style into art. We set real squad goals. On and off the pitch. We follow trailblazers and legends. And our game is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We forge our own path forward.
You want the new personal best? Come on, all the way.
Because our style is substance. And our style is here to stay.
John McDonough, bit of a scrum foreman. Legs of plenty and hurls also as Kilkenny attacked the town end of the ground here for this second half. Ball towards goal and she just lost control of it, and then her eye went off it as trying to get in there. Sarah Walsh is down on the ground now trying to protect it, and it looks like you're trying to get in there. Roisin Egan, 23 for 26 or 26 for 23 is the change on the Offaly setup. It's Mairead Tehan is in for Orla Maher, I think it is. That's on the Offaly side. Mairead would be no slouch either in a county shirt. The ball breaks over on the far side, and we've 25 for 3 as well. I think it's still on the Offaly side. Michaela Morgan looks like she's in, and looks like it's full-back Trina MacDonald has gone. I did see Trina getting a bit of physio attention on a calf injury, so maybe that's part of that issue. Michaela, though, will be more out around the middle, I'd imagine. We'll see another change. We try and identify which side that has come as Miriam Walsh gets an early opportunity and knocks it over the bar. And Miriam, you know, she gets out in front, she's a danger from at least 40 out.
Yeah, she's able to score from anywhere within that 45 and further out on occasion, but a lovely crossfield ball in there favoured Miriam and hopped lovely into the hand and over the bar.
So I wonder, are all the changes on the Offaly setup done? Don't see anything on the Kilkenny, so I think it is Siobhan Flannery is in now. Just trying to identify her around the field maybe as opportunity comes in for Gall. And Gall puts it in and over the bar. So straight away Kilkenny basically saying to Offaly, getting any notions here, lads?
Yeah, no, back to where we went, and yeah, the changes are all on the Offaly team. It looks like Amy Byrne gone in full back instead of Trina MacDonald. Michaela Markham gone in left half back, and Siobhan Flannery gone into right corner forward.
Ball is inside now straight away. Miriam Walsh on the ground, could offload it here. Here's an opportunity now for a goal. Mary O'Connell with the shot, blocked away though by Jennings. Ball is still there, it's got to be cleared by the Offaly defence. Mary O'Connell standing in Acres' room again.
Yeah, and probably just took an extra touch to it, just took that little solo, little hop on the hurl that maybe she didn't need to do, and in fairness it was to the right height to Jennings, and did well to save it, but probably a miss for Kilkenny and a let off for Offaly.
Kilkenny now will have the wind on their back in the second half as this ball is knocked forward towards Michaela Morgan. Morgan coming up along the line, one of the ladies of course that you see featured in some publicity around Camogie over the last few years, school teacher, and I think we see her on Instagram now as a Pilates instructor as well. But Michaela out on the field of play. 1-11 to 4 points, so Kilkenny with 2 quick points at the start of the second half. Obviously Brian Dowling hoping for a little bit of a bounce out Kilkenny from the half-time break, because he probably felt it was a little bit too open after the water break as this ball knocked forward, and Spanbrick is back there to turn and send it down here towards Gall. Gall out in front of her marker, looking to have a look inside, and she gives it here towards Mary O'Connell, looking to offload it inside. Opportunity, here's Walsh looking to get forward, still going, takes on the challenge, could pop the pass, goal chance for Offaly, or Kilkenny I should say, knocked to the back of the net, very well taken, Grace Walsh setting it up.
Yeah, absolutely. From the very first touch, from that ball that Denise Gall won out in front of Sarah Walsh here, took it up off the heel of the hurl from down at her toe and played it in. Grace did really, really well, and Mary O'Connell had spotted her in an acre of space and threaded that pass through the eye of a needle over to Grace, and Grace did really well to take the defender out of it and allow the finish there from Aoife.
Good score from Aoife Doyle. Had a chance in the first half to come off the post, but finished at the back of the net this time. Ball is knocked forward here now. Opportunity maybe accruing, trying to get the body in the way there, and it's turned it in her favour. Sarah Harding knocking the ball in off the upright. Ball is still there, pulling the first time. Opportunity still there accruing, but the Offaly defence, or the Offaly forwards, been shut out by the Kilkenny defence. Ball is back towards Harding, lost out of her hand though, being tracked by Kellyanne Doyle now, looking to get this ball out. Goal that came then from Aoife Doyle, 1-2 from Kilkenny since the break, and all of a sudden, you know, this game is getting out of sight from Offaly. Ball is knocked forward, played by Miriam Walsh now, giving it off here towards Steffi Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald going to have a shot at the post into the town end. It's up and it's over the bar. And all of a sudden the forwards, the full forward line, shooting the lights out here.
Yeah, every single one of the Kilkenny starting 6 now, bar Michaela Keneally, is on the score sheet there. And, you know, again, a really, really well worked score. That came from right down at their own goal where Offaly had a chance maybe of a goal and it didn't come off. Kellyanne Doyle picked up the break and played it out the middle of the field and worked it the whole way up to Steffi Fitzgerald with the confidence to take her own shot. And I think really telling was she had Mary O'Connell running off her right shoulder as well for the pass if she needed to. So, you know, Kilkenny really coming in waves at Offaly at the moment now.
2-12 to 4 points. At half time it was 1-9 to 4. That was just 4 minutes ago. And since the off, Miriam Walsh with a point from play, Denise Gall with a point from play, a goal from Aoife Doyle on 33, and Steffi Fitzgerald with a point on 34. That's 1-3 in 4 minutes. And Kilkenny, as we said, if Offaly were getting any notions of making a game of this in the second half, they've put it to bed at this point.
Yeah, a real blitz at the start of the second half for Kilkenny there, much as the same as they started the first one, except on this occasion, you know, they managed to put 1-3 on the scoreboard in the blink of an eye.
Ball is played forward there by Michaela Morgan, and Kellyanne Doyle she could even have made a mess of it 3 times and she still was able to get it forward. Morgan though, forward over on the far side now with Keneally, giving it inside, going for the return pass. Michaela gets it at the second time of asking, playing it into the middle now, looking for Grania. Egan maybe to come on to it also there, maybe Mairead Tehan. Ball though is turned over there by Miriam Bambrick. Opportunity with Dealey, but Dealey didn't really give her a great pass there. A bit of a hospital pass she'd called that, is trying to get forward on this ball now. Aisling Brennan, being very impressed with Aisling Brennan at the St. Killian's club, knocking the ball over a bar for her second point of the afternoon.
Yeah, she's been really busy around the middle of the field there for Offaly and has got on a load of possession and, you know, has drove forward on occasion but just hasn't quite got, I suppose, the finish up until that point. But her second point from the middle of the field, so, you know, she's been impressive so far for Susan Erner's side.
Bit of a worry for Kilkenny is that Davina Tobin is down being attended to at the moment as this ball played forward towards Gall. Feigned that she was going to have a shot off there, could give it back here to Steffi Fitzgerald, has a point to her name. Fitzgerald looking to play it down into the corner now, looking for Mary O'Connell, but it's taken away from her by Roisin Egan. Roisin who'll line out for the LGFA side tomorrow along with Grania. Egan playing at centre forward as this ball knocked forward here for Offaly, but it's gone out off of Steffi Fitzgerald and it should be a sideline cut for Offaly. Brian Dowling just inquiring that Davina Tobin is okay. She's up anyway, and I think the nod came from the physio that everything is okay. Sideline cut being taken by Sarah Walsh. But it's cut out there by Miriam Bambrick, the Barra Rangers player, alongside her clubmate Colette Dormer on the field here today. In towards Miriam Walsh. Miriam should have been getting married this year, but COVID has played its effect on that. The ball goes backwards, and it's Kellyanne Doyle picking this ball up now, looking to knock it over the far side of the field, but waiting for it is Michaela Morgan. Michaela Doyle let it slip from one hand to the other, and eventually gets back in there ahead of Keneally and win that ball. Keneally Doyle gets in, and she's been urged to get in, stuck into it, and Keneally did, but the referee says that she committed a foul. And which way is he pointing? Keneally reckons it should be her free, and I think John
just forgot we'd switch
which
sides
side he was
at
going with.
half-time.
As coming in for Kilkenny now is Katie Nolan, the St. Martin's player, replaces Miriam Walsh. Miriam just seems to have picked up a little bit of a sprain, I would think. Just looks to be limping a little bit on her right ankle. As Denise Gall has a fire in at the town end of the ground here, puts the ball up and over the bar.
Yeah, Miriam Welch had been down, I suppose, getting a little bit of attention on that ankle just prior to that bit of play there. So Brian Dowling was not really willing to risk anyone on this occasion, especially given that they're so far ahead, and no slouch in Katie Nolan to come on there and pick up the mantle.
2:13-5, trying to get on this now. Grán Egan really Offaly need goals, and this lady got 3 against Dublin. She's finding it a bit harder today up alongside Colette Dormer, giving the ball back here to Tien. Tien with the shot, and that's a fine bit of play from Offaly.
An absolutely lovely score from Offaly there, and initially I thought maybe the pass from Egan to Tien was a little bit close, but Tien did really well to spin out of it and make the space for herself and shoot over a great point off her right.
2:13-5 then as the ball breaks here from an Offaly point of view now. Looking to build on something maybe here. Aisling Brennan, lovely ball inside. Here's a chance for Offaly. Ball is blocked away though, straight at Emma Kavanagh, but what a ball played in by Aisling Brennan.
Yeah, and Siobhan Flannery on the edge of the square on her own, and they're huge servant to Offaly Camogie, a really experienced player. But Brian Town will be wondering how she was alone on the edge of the square in there. But credit Emma Kavanagh, a great save and from point blank range.
Yeah, Emma stood big and got the hurl in the way as Grán Egan flashed that ball in and flashed it to the right and wide. Realistically, Offaly need everything going for them now in these early stages here. As we've another Kilkenny defender down injured. It looks like Colette Dormer. Looks like maybe something, a knee, and it looks like she's gone actually. And that's a little bit of a worry. No, one of your mainstays at the back. Not going to take any chances. I imagine Brian Dowling here now anyway as well, but maybe it's is a quad or hamstring.
Say a hamstring, maybe. Looking by the way Nicola Elward looked at her as she went down there, and she seemed to know straight away that was game up for Colette Dormer today. And I suppose that is a worry, as you said, one of your more experienced defenders back there.
Davina Tobin playing this ball in now, looking to get it there. Amy Burndo out in front of the attentions of Katie Nolan, giving the ball off here to Morgan. Morgan looking to put the head down. Kate Kenny going for a bit of a run. There's an opportunity here, but Morgan has only one idea on her mind now, looking to play this ball a little bit further forward, trying to get it on now to Siobhan Flannery. Flannery though loses the ball, and it's going to be picked up by the Kilkenny defence. Out here it comes towards Miriam Bambrick. Kilkenny still down to 14 players, waiting to get in here now. Aoife Prendergast, the Dixper player for Colette Dormer, but Dormer is off with a little bit of a knock, and so is Miriam Walsh. That'll be the only worry here for Brian Dowling. Two of his mainstays of his team are after picking up knocks, but I suppose when you're so far ahead against Offaly here, probably get the girls off, get them tended to maybe even straight away, and get some of the other girls a bit of experience too.
Yeah, you're facing into quarterfinals next weekend, and then either semi-final and final or afterwards, or into a hard block of training. So you really want to have everyone at peak fitness, and a hamstring or something like that. If you're looking at a couple of weeks, you're suddenly eating into championship time, and maybe going into championship and then not knowing whether someone is fully fit or not. So yeah, get the players off. You have a panel there, use them today, and take care of the girls that need taken care of with injuries.
Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League Division 1 Group 3 encounter between Kilkenny and Offaly. No matter what happens here, both are in the quarter-finals. But as we know, the draw that will take place of the 3 group winners, 1 will be in the quarter-finals with the 3 runners-up, and 2 will be straight into the semi-finals. But here at the moment, the Cats anyway are going to top this group because they lead by 2:13-6. Ball is knocked in long, looking for Katie Nolan, but it's cut out by Sarah Walsh. Chance maybe now for Michaela Morgan to get this ball forward. Offaly starting to play a little bit of purpose again now. It's a pity though, it just took a little bit of while towards Flannery here now, trying to maybe get the ball off here to Tien. But it's Bambrick, who I have to say have been very impressive.
Yeah, and was very impressive on her first outing out against Dublin 2 weeks ago as well, but has popped up all over the field there today, and real confidence in her delivery and in her dispossession back there, playing from in front, and a real addition to that Kilkenny backs. From an Offaly point of view, you'd have to be impressed with the players that they've brought on, the experience maybe of Siobhan Flannery and Michaela Markham at the back, and Marie T and further up. They've really brought a little bit of something else to Offaly, and I think definitely given Susan Erner something to think about looking at our quarter-final team next weekend.
So 2:13-6 then, not far off the water break, and probably a bit of reinvigoration as John McDonough going to have a chat here with Kate Kenny, it looks like. And I'd say there's going to be a card here, but looks like things it'll be the first one of the day. It's been a right physical encounter, but it is a yellow card for Kate Kenny, the St. Ryan's player.
Yeah, challenge probably just a little bit high on Grace Walsh. She came out with the ball there, and John left the advantage play on, I think, but happy enough to go back then just to flash the card to say to Kate Kenny that he had seen the challenge.
Coming to the end of the game between Waterford and Cork. Cork lead 3-15 to 1-11. Waterford needed to win that game by 10 points to force maybe their opportunity into the quarterfinals. But we'll have to digest whether that's a better performance from Waterford than it was the last day, as Kilkenny won't worry about that, as they're going to worry about their own, as the ball was played in there by Aoife Prendergast, but it's out to the right and wide. Kilkenny, not too many wides here this afternoon. Prendergast just in play there. She on for Colette Dormer, who picked up, looks like a hamstring injury possibly. Looks like we're also warming up Laura Murphy. As Amy Byrne coming forward. She's been a busy lady out there on the field for Offaly today, but she's been dispossessed of that ball there by the goal scorer Aoife Doyle. Ball played forward here now, trying to keep it in play. Keneally, who's been very impressive as well, to Mary O'Connell, who's had 4 points to her name. Has she made it 5? That is a fine effort from Mary O'Connell. Lovely bit of play here on the field, and then Keneally as well, just to dog it out and get the ball away.
Yeah, did really well keep that ball in play. Actually was very close to the sideline when she got possession of it, but I think the real telltale sign of Kilkenny's play today has been those close little passes, and Mary O'Connell coming at speed off of Michaela Keneally's shoulder there, took the little hand pass and found herself in open space and popped over her 5th point of the day.
Looks a little bit like Tommy Shefflin's play, doesn't it?
There's a lot of the hurling around here looks a bit like Tommy Shefflin. We were watching them in the warm-up play a really tight first touch game inside in the square, and pure hurling, and that'll be a real Tommy Shefflin trait.
Goal, going to have a shot, saved away by Jennings, knocked to the back of the net though. It's knocked in there, looks like by Katie Nolan, was it, that just followed it up there. You'd have to credit Jennings with a good save.
Yeah, super counter-attack from Kilkenny, and as I said, Gall coming down the centre, had her eye on the corner there, super save from Jennings, but just no one following up the rebound, only Katie Nolan, and opted to use the foot to kick it in.
Yeah, right foot off the outside, the right foot put to the back of the net, and good score there from Katie Nolan. Would have had to maybe kill momentum a little bit if she had to strike it with the hurley, so elected to pull on with the foot, and into the bottom corner it goes. Change then on the, is it Offaly or Kilkenny set up? It's the problem, no public address. We just see the substitute, but there it is, the pass off, it went to Gall, going for that far side, and credit Jennings getting the flick on it, but then, do you know what there probably helped was the surface down in that goal mode, of course, which is artificial surface, and it just bounced up lovely for Katie to be able to get a flick of the boot at it.
Yeah, spun it up at a lovely height for Katie Nolan, and there were no slouches at the football up around Muckalee, St. Martin's direction, so she put all that to good use to kick it to the net there, and she'll be happy to get on the scoreboard. Started the last day, and it's a huge workhorse for Kilkenny, gets through a lot of work, huge GPS stats I'd say every day, covers oceans of ground, so to add the scoring to that work rate is something that she's probably looking at doing this year, and that's a great start for her.
Looks like Laura Murphy is in for Sarah, or I should say Steffi Fitzgerald, and as I said, just looking to confirm that other substitution, whether it is,
and Lydia Fitzpatrick there looks to be helmeted up and GPS'd up as well.
Yeah.
As does Laura Norris from Pilton, so it's like a Kilkenny.
So it looks like he's running the bench. It's only going to be Aoife that'll be left, Aoife Norris. That is only 21 here with the Kilkenny set up today, but I believe they've been busy elsewhere.
Yeah, had a run out I think against the Kilkenny intermediate team this morning, so Brian Dowling obviously anxious to get game time into all his players, and knowing he couldn't do it here today, I suppose took advantage of the weekend off that the intermediate team had, so a good workout this morning I'm sure for a lot of those girls, and players there putting their hands up to keep pressure on the players that made the panel here today.
Yeah, so Michaela Keneally is off and Davina Tobin is off. So those are all Kilkenny changes that have just happened there. And looks like an Offaly change going to happen. It looks like Christine Cleary of Shinrone is coming in. And she is in for Grania Egan. I think that's probably thinking of Grania playing LGFA action tomorrow. And I would imagine Roisin Egan won't be too far away if she hasn't already left the field of play as well. I do know Grania was crediting both managers, both of the ladies football setup and the Camogie setup, that they're in communication with each other to facilitate these players.
Yeah, and I suppose it has to be, none of them want to see a player, flogged to death with training and work at matches at the weekend. And if you're playing 2 matches the weekend, I'm sure it's a little training during the week will do those kind of players. So, you need that kind of level of communication to make it work.
Ball is going to be flicked inside. It's a dangerous ball in there. Flannery is trying to get a touch on it. And it's gone out to the left and wide. Chance for Siobhan Flannery.
Yeah, clever little touch from her, and you could see what the aim was trying to deflect it into that corner, but just didn't quite come off there.
No, but it just shows you the wit of Siobhan Flannery. She was thinking about doing that as this ball is given off to Laura Norris now, looking to get a flick at it to Mary O'Connell. Is this up and over the bar again? Another fine score.
Yeah, Mary really revelling in that centre forward position, a player who plenty of speed and pace and likes maybe a little bit of space, which she would have played at corner forward maybe on occasion last year and maybe just didn't quite suit her, but certainly revelling at centre forward here today.
3:15 to 6 points, and maybe some of the fire gone out with the bellies now with that little bit. Some of the players I'm sure that will come on and be looking to stamp a mark for the next day, but Mary O'Connell is definitely one that's putting her hand up for a jersey for the championship season anyway.
Absolutely, and she's a player who has been around Kilkenny intermediate and senior panels for a couple of years, so well experienced at that level, and to be able to pop up centre forward today and put 6 points on the scoreboard with 10 or 15 minutes of hurling left to play, is no mean feat.
The voice there of Elaine Elward. You're watching action on the Littlewoods Ireland GA Twitter account and also on the Camogie Association YouTube channel, and it is Kilkenny booking their place. Well, they've already had their place in the quarter-finals. They could still be there after the draw that takes place, of course. It looks like Cork will be advancing out of Group 2 and Limerick and Galway, of course, are into the quarter-finals anyway. So it's Dublin, Clare and Waterford that are going to be out of action for the next couple of weeks until championship comes about anyway, and all the others are going to be playing it out to turn up in Croke Park on the 20th of June, where the league final will be played in front of 3,000 people is what has been allowed as a test event. So hoping we get to see 3,000 people turn up in Croke Park.
Absolutely, it's a huge achievement for the Camogie Association, I suppose, to have that opportunity. And people have been doing without inter-county action for so long now. You'd hope that there's an over demand for tickets for the occasion. You'd love to see everyone who has spoken about Camogie and supported Camogie over the last couple of weeks getting to Croke Park on that day, whatever 2 teams are there, and really getting back to enjoy some of the action that we've been so lucky to see over the past 12 months.
Well, if you believe the postman in Donegal, we're due to have a great summer of action, and it's starting here in St Brendan's Park in Birr today. It feels like championship. It's starting to feel a bit like summer. It's finally kicking into gear, it would seem. And Kilkenny, well, they look like the All-Ireland champions out there today. Credit Offaly, they've taken the game to them, but when you look at the scoreboard, there's a hell of a gap between them as this ball breaks up at the far side, and in there trying to win it again. Miriam Bambrick, what a game she has had out there today for the Cats as the ball is played forward now, looking into the middle, looking to get control of that, but it's Offaly that have turned it over with probably one of their star players in Roisin Egan. Egan giving this ball off now. Offaly looking to come forward, but they really need goals just to take maybe the bad look off the scoreboard. Ball is thrown out here though. Lydia Fitzpatrick looking to play it over here to Gall. Gall could be the first minute, could be the 61st minute, she's still going. Looking to play this ball into the corner now, looking for a little bit of run, looking inside now, maybe Steffi thinking about an opportunity to pull a shot at the bar, and it's up and over the bar. Aoife Doyle, I should say, has put that ball over, and that's a fine score.
Yeah, really good work from Gall down along the sideline, collected the ball really, really well, and it's such a clever, intelligent ball. Probably could have looked at maybe swinging it over herself, but opted to play Aoife Doyle into it and did really well to come out and swing it over off her right.
Aoife Doyle with a goal and a point, Miriam Walsh with a goal and a point, Steffi Fitzgerald with a point, Mary O'Connell with 6, and Denise Gall throwing in with 7. Those are the point scorers there, and you add in the goal then from Katie Nolan, and it's all adding up to 3-16. 6 points for Offaly. They've only got 2 in this second half, 1 from Ashing Brennan and 1 from Mairead Tehan. as Tian tried to get on this ball. It's breaking away though from Miriam Bambrick, and it's eventually rolled, lift up by Egan, who pops the pass in. Opportunity coming forward here now. Kate Kenny looking to offload it. Advantage being played, says the referee. Going to be a shot coming in. It's going to drop into the hands. It's going to be a free in. That we're interested to see who takes it out, because Grant Egan is replaced. I wonder who will step across to take it, as Physio runs into the Offaly setup there. And you can just see the pep in the step has gone out of the Offaly crew a little bit, as Grace Walsh checks on, looks like her eye. Not sure that Grace wears contacts or anything like that, but definitely was checking on her eye there, and I think it was Lydia Fitzpatrick was helping her out. The strike coming in from Siobhan Flannery then that came across for that. And Siobhan puts that ball over the bar from the resulting free.
Yeah, and I suppose Offaly just being punished today for those, they've strung some good passages of play together, but when they have broken down, I suppose Kilkenny just able to exploit them and able to punish them that little bit more than Dublin were last week, and that's been the real difference. They have their game plan, and it's clear to see that they've been trying to work the ball through the middle, but like I said, any missed pass, any missed hand pass or missed control, and Kilkenny are quick in to smother it and able to convert it on the scoreboard, which is the real difference.
This ball played forward. Aisling Brennan was about to wind up there. She's had 2 points here in this game, but she was cut off. But eventually Wall is won back by Shanahan, looking to play it down into the corner here now. Looking to step inside on it is Sarah Harding. Harding plays a nice ball inside towards Teen. Here could be an opportunity now. Teen looking to step inside, trying to get back. Teen going to have a shot. Ball is still in there. Oh! Opportunity for Flannery. She elected to kick it rather than... I think maybe her balance was just going. I'm not sure she was going to be able to get a cut off at it. As we can see here, Tian looking to play the ball inside, get away from the attentions of Grace Walsh, and Flannery then just falling backwards, tried to get a kick at it, and it was blocked away, and it's going to be a 45 and a chance for Flannery maybe to come out and take this and get 2 on the bounce for Kilkenny, or for Offaly, maybe take some of the bad luck off the scoreboard.
Yeah, the original shot from Tian looked like it was going to be a rocket, but whether it took a shot off someone and ricocheted in there, it kind of dribbled more towards Emma Cavanagh's goal than actually the speed I thought it was going to come at, and caught both maybe Emma Kavanagh and Siobhan Flannery off guard, and Flannery just threw a leg at it as it was passing, and Emma Kavanagh happy to shepherd it out for the 45.
Flannery then with a point already, knows where the goal posts are, and to put this ball over the bar from the 45, and that she does. With 55 minutes gone, 3:16 to 8 points now. There's Gall looking to play this ball inside, looking for a bit of a run out with Mary O'Connell. O'Connell been playing very, very well, looking to pop a nice little pass inside, might work out the break here. Looking to turn around Lydia, kicking it out here towards Katie Nolan, who's already kicked one to the back of the net. Is she going to strike one off her left? No, she's pulled it to the left and wide. Opportunity did accrue there, but chance gone a begging.
And Offaly with the quick puck out, something we haven't seen a whole lot of today. We haven't had a whole lot of wides, I suppose, to allow the quick puck outs and the quick restarts, but Offaly happy to take it on that occasion and try, as you said, to get something up there to take that bad luck off the scoreboard.
Susan Erner not happy with John McDonough there as Siobhan Flannery hit the deck, but they've Offaly have turned it over. Here's Tian. Ball might work out. No, it's inside. It's a split ball, but it's well watched there by Emma Kavanagh, and credit the Rower Inishtig player that she was alert to that, and a lovely ball out towards Deely.
Yeah, well taken by Deely. A lovely weighted pass from Evan Kavanagh, as you said, quick out off her line to alert to the danger in there. She'd be looking to push Aoife Norris for that number 1 jersey come the championship. Yeah,
well, they have interchanged position there on occasion as that ball is knocked in by Offaly, and it's out to the left and wide. Chance gone a big in there from Offaly forwards.
Yeah, another long distance shot from Kilkenny and just drifted off to the left and wide, and maybe given the bit of positivity from that Offaly full forward in the last few minutes, maybe would have been better off maybe to just play it in there and try and create something major. I know Susan was impressed with obviously their goal scoring opportunities last week when they got 4 against Dublin, but had maybe looked to push on this week and add a couple of point scoring opportunities to it, and haven't really been able to do that today.
In Walsh Park it is finished up. Cork 3-15, Waterford 1-13, so Waterford had needed to win that game to have any hope of maybe getting to the knockout stages, but their league campaign comes to an end, and it's 2 losses on the bounce for them. Cork then will be in the hat as group winners, along with Kilkenny And then who will join them? Well, Limerick and Galway, they face off at 4:30. So, unfortunately for Dublin, Clare and Waterford, Elaine, it's a few weeks of inactivity now.
Yeah, and it's a tough one. You know, 2 new management teams, I suppose, in both those camps as well. Adrian O'Sullivan in Dublin and Derek Lyons in Waterford. So, you know, it's been a quick start for them for the league, and now they have a couple of weeks where they have to try and create a championship atmosphere at training to try and be up to the pitch of things, while you have teams like Offaly and Kilkenny, Cork pushing on it and playing, you know, top quality games.
That's going to be a worry for those, all right, and especially when you be thinking of Clare, who, you know, played very, very well in their opening encounter against Galway, and then seemed to just maybe take the eye off a ball, or maybe Limerick are coming into a reign of form too. We'll know more probably today. Yeah,
there seems to be a bit of positivity about Limerick Camogie at the moment, and a big drive there. Pat Ryan and his management team in there. So, you know, they did really, really well to get that result, and Clare will be a little bit disappointed to be in the bottom stages of the league.
Point there for Kilkenny. Was it Laura Murphy that got that from distance? It did go over from distance. Could be goal either. I just was half looking at it there. But point anyway. I went over the bar for Kilkenny. Brings them on to 3:17. This ball breaks around the middle now. Trying to get in there and win it was Bambrick. Ball eventually comes up here into the hands of Lydia Fitzpatrick, the St. Lacton's player. Burst forward now, being tracked all the way there by Aisling Brennan. Fouled the ball, says the referee, and it's going to be an Offaly chance to break out here. Breeze seems to have dropped somewhat, so can't really use that as an excuse now for Offaly in lots of ways. Tricolour still flying well over on the far side, but definitely not as strong as it was maybe in the first half, as Gall sitting in the pocket here, long way back, looking to come forward here, but fouls at the referee. And Denise, I don't think overly happy with the attention she got there.
Just checking, was it intentional or not, I think.
This ball straight away, she took the free quickly and gives it forward to Aoife Prendergast. She had a wide early on, but now she has a point to her name and brings them to 3:18.
Yeah, really intelligent play from Denise Gall. So was intercepted the Offaly free in the first occasion, and then stood up to take her own and found Aoife Prendergast in space there, and perfect pass up to her and allowed Aoife the chance to have the shot on the point.
Yeah, and the subs have been involved here in the since they come on. A couple of wides, but they've also got a few scores as well. I think probably the biggest one was Katie Nolan kicking the ball to the back of the net. 3:18 on the scoreboard, then 8 points. As Flannery tries to get on this ball now. Looking to play it short back. What eventually she does get it. Tommy Shefflin, you can hear him shouting, or Pat O'Neill was it there to get on the hurl. As eventually cutting in on that ball there is Sarah Harding. Referee says that she's fouled, and a chance here for Offaly and Siobhan Flannery probably again. As referee going to have a chat with Grace Walsh, I would think. Bit of wild use of the hurl maybe, and a yellow card for Grace Walsh.
Yeah, a little bit high there as Sarah Harding ducked in past her. I think Grace just might have left the hurl a little bit high, and John happy to call it back for the free when no advantage accrued.
So just while we watch Siobhan Flannery get ready, and this just to reiterate then that the 3 group winners will go into a draw, and 2 of them will go straight to the semi-finals. The 3rd group winner then will join the rest of the runners-up in the groups in the quarter-finals, and those quarter-finals take place next weekend, along with what are due to be relegation games, but Siobhan Flannery unfortunately has pulled that to the left and wide as we enter into additional time here. So it will be Kilkenny, Cork, and either Limerick or Galway will be those group winners, and then it will be into the scenario Tipperary, Offaly, and either Limerick or Galway. So also back out in action next week is trying to get forward here. Orla Kerwin going to have a shot, but the ball drops into Emma Kavanagh. Kavanagh gets out very well there ahead of the Offaly player down at the far end of the field, but it's over on the far side now. Kilkenny looking to deal with this, and probably one of Kilkenny's standout players, Miriam Bamrick, getting this ball forward now. Lovely ball to Mary O'Connor. Oh, look at the pass inside to Gall. Gall looking to settle on it, going to pop it across here. It was exhibition stuff, but unfortunately overcooked it that little bit, Denise. Could have been an opportunity for a goal there.
Just got a little bit too fancy maybe with the last pass.
But here's Lydia, is it trying to get through to Aoife Prendergast. Ball is still to Gall. Is she going to go for goal this time? Back at the net from Denise Gall, and no mercy being shown to the Offaly backs there.
No, Denise was making no mistake on that occasion, probably aware that the pass beforehand was a little bit extra, so happy to just take her score on that occasion. But again, such a well-worked score from the back, from Miriam Mambrick's clearance up to Mary O'Connell, and we heard the call coming in here, a pass, hurley pass at distance, took out the entire Offaly half back line, and Denise Gall running inside Mary O'Connell, and then the lovely little pop
Katie
pass.
Nolan making it all of her own, as she knows. She's pulled it to the left and wide. Katie has had a goal and a couple of wides now to her name. That was a lovely bit of play, just unfortunate to pull out to the left and wide. Ball over on the far side now as Kilkenny come again. This will be some score if it goes over the bar, and that is a fine effort. And is that Aoife Doyle has got that?
Again.
That is a fine score from Aoife Doyle.
Yeah, has been
1-2 to her name.
isolated on the edge of the square in there for a lot of that second half. I suppose a lot of the play going on around the half-forward line outside her, but drifted out there from that puck out, and well able to take score from the angle.
4-19 to 8 points than it is on the scoreboard. It looks, and it is an absolute hammering, but you'd have to say that I'm not sure it's a bit harsh on Offaly, is it?
Yeah, they have created some good passages of play, but it's been out around the middle of the field, and just in this final third, I suppose, once they've pushed up, anytime they have got past the Kilkenny half back line, they just haven't been able to finish, and certainly not finish at the ease that Kilkenny are finishing at the far end. We see some of the Kilkenny subs coming on, and as I said, they've contributed 1-2, 1-3 maybe to that Kilkenny scoreline. Credit to Offaly, their subs. I think Siobhan Flannery, Michaela Markham started really well, and Marie Teen up front when they came on all brought something different to Offaly, and Kate Kenny has tried hard throughout, but like I said, they're just not able to get the scores on the scoreboard with the ease that Kilkenny are at the other end.
Siobhan Flannery unfortunately won't like to see the last two frees as she hops the hurley off herself there. She would have got them on to double digits, but unfortunately the last two have gone badly wide for her.
Yeah, 2 frees she'd be very disappointed with, in fairness. I know it's into the breeze, but one onto the left and one to the right, and a really experienced free taker would be disappointed with missing those.
Ball well won there by Laura Murphy, and playing it forward there, trying to get Gall on, and now steps out ahead of Amy Byrne, scoops it up then into the onrushing Laura Norris. Laura has put the ball over the bar, and credit, you'd have to say, the subs that have come on, they may have hit it wide, but they've also got a score.
Yeah, they've been really, really busy up there, and I suppose that's, they're hard working. A lot of those subs, Laura Murphy, Katie Nolan, Aoife Pendergast, Lydia Fitzpatrick and Laura Norris, fully aware, I suppose, that they've been picked on the panel here today to come here, and aware that there was maybe 30 girls down in Kilkenny this morning who didn't get that opportunity. So when you get it in this Kilkenny team, you have to make it count.
Katie Ann Doyle knocking a lovely ball forward after winning it to Denise Gall. She settles on it, puts it over the bar. Now it's a little bit of shooting practice for Kilkenny.
Yeah, super take from Kellyanne Doyle at centre back. She's had a great game today for Kilkenny, and there was long stages of the game there. You're wondering if there was anyone marking her. She was popping up in free positions all over the place, but superb take from her, and picked out the unmarked Gall, who was going to make no mistake from there.
We'll be thinking of your player of the match. I'd imagine they're all going to be in black and amber over the next few minutes, Elaine, and John McDonough has seen enough. 4-21 to 8 points. That is an absolute humiliating defeat here, there's no question about it. The closest I suppose Offaly got was when they were 1-9 down at half time, having played a fine second quarter between the water break and half time. Susan Erner and imagine Audrey Kennedy and others that are part of their backroom team there will be downtrodden and everything, but they still have a quarter final to play. But Brian Dowling will be quite happy that saw an opportunity to get all these subs in apart from Aoife Norris, and they all contributed as well.
Yeah, and I think tellingly they put 4-21 on the scoreboard. Coming out of Callan the last day, they'd scored 1-8 against Dublin. I know it was different day, different conditions and stuff, not maybe conducive to high scores, but certainly today, they put Offaly to the sword from the very word go, and had balls in the net at vital occasions. But 21 points is fantastic score, and I think the spread of scorers will be more pleasing. Denise Gall, Mary O'Connell, Steffi Fitzgerald, Miriam Walsh, Aoife Doyle all got on the scoreboard, and then the subs that came on, Katie Nolan, Aoife Pendergast and Laura Norris, all really, really involved in the play and in creating scores and getting on the scoreboard themselves. And I suppose that's what you'll want coming into championship. You want girls putting up their hands and getting on that scoreboard and able to do a job when they do come on.
Looking at it though, the second day out for maybe the stronger teams has been maybe the day that they've really hit a little bit of a groove, hasn't it?
Yeah, the first day out against Dublin, I suppose, cobwebs, we're back training maybe 3 or 4 weeks, not really knowing where teams are at, and Kilkenny coming in on the back of an All-Ireland victory in December, a strange time, and I suppose going back to the weather again, it was a miserable wet day in Callan on that occasion, whereas coming up to Offaly today, sunshine and ball hopping off the ground, it's real, as we said beforehand, it's real championship feel to it, and Kilkenny certainly showed that when they hit the ground running there, and I think what they really showed was their experience of playing together, and a couple of the passes that they picked out through the experienced hands of the likes of Claire Phelan at the back, Grace Welcher in the middle, and Denise Gall up front really stood out today.
Really, definitely did stand out, as we can see the Kilkenny girls going through their warm down. Let's have a quick word about Offaly. 8 points, didn't take opportunities, not too many goals accrued, but they did maybe get 1 or 2 chances. They really needed to be taking those against Kilkenny today. Standout players for me: Aisling Brennan, Amy Byrne was involved in a good tussle with Michaela Keneally, Roisin Egan obviously gave her all as well, and probably in the forwards, you'd have to give some credit to the likes of Sarah Harding, who kept running in that forward line.
Yeah, and Kate Kenny, I think, and Grania Dolan as well. Got on plenty of ball, but as I said, look, it's a teak, tough full back line, or back six there with Kilkenny, and you don't get anything easy. And maybe, the plan that they had last week against Dublin was the high ball in, and they were lucky enough they got a couple of goals off breaks in there. You don't get those kind of breaks when you have Colette Dormer and Kellyanne Doyle and Claire Phelan putting up the paw inside there and taking those balls out of the sky, Probably robbing yourself a little when you bring Kate Kenny out around the middle of the field to pick up ball. Obviously she's there to deliver it in, but you probably do need to have her inside there to finish it, and I think that was the real difference today, is Kilkenny finished their opportunities and finished them with aplomb, whereas Offaly just weren't able to do that.
Looking at the Kilkenny setup then, it's hard. This was a real team performance. Lots of players standing out. Tobin on various different occasions. Dormer before she went off injured. Claire Phelan really had a big first half. Kellyanne Doyle just seemed to be sitting in the pocket very, very well. Miriam Bambrooke, to me, seemed to turn up everywhere out on that field. And then when you consider that 5 or 6 starting forwards all score, you could be talking about any of them, especially Mary O'Connell. She had a big first half and settles off then with a 6-point tally. It'll be hard maybe to pick one of them. Yeah,
it certainly was a team performance all around, right from Emma Kavanagh in the goal. I suppose didn't get a whole lot to do, but anything she did, she dealt with really well. Some of her deliveries and her puck outs were pinpoint accurate, and will cause a headache obviously for Brian Dowling, maybe with Aoife Norris sitting on the bench here today. And then, as you said, at the back, I thought Miriam Bambrooke was outstanding. She came out with ball time and time again there, and really clever delivery, and popped the pass to the correct player, running at the correct pace. As you said, Kellyanne Doyle and Claire Phelan and Grace Welcher in the middle, their experience, the names go and tell you, the influence they're going to have on a game. And up front, like you said, when your 5 or 6 forwards score up there, and Michaela Keneally is the other one, and she gets through the ocean work that she did there today, it's a huge combined effort. And I think that's what, the scoring is one thing, but it's the work rate that Tommy Shefflin and Brian Dowling and them have really pushed, and Kilkenny just matched that so well today with that work rate with the finishing, and that's why they had 421 on the scoreboard.
So if I was to put your head on the block, who would you be picking out of that Kilkenny team, I would imagine?
For me, I suppose Mary O'Connell up front. Look, she scored 6 points, but as well as that, she covered an ocean of ground, made herself available on loads and loads of occasions, interplay really, really well with Denise Gall and Grace Welcher in the middle of the field. And look, starting at centre forward, I suppose a small bit of pressure on her maybe today to produce something up there, and she steps up with 4 points in the first half and follows it up with 2 in the second half. So for me, I suppose she was the standout player today.
So looking at matters then, we'll hope to hear from Kilkenny's number 11, Mary O'Connell, in the next few minutes, as well as she is awarded our player of the match here for the performance today. We heard she was flying in training during the week from Brian Dowling. Well, she's turned up with 6 points here this afternoon. So Kilkenny's number 11 will be our player of the game here this afternoon. So we're going to take a quick break here from St. Brendan's Park in Burr, and hopefully after that we'll be hearing from both camps and our player of the match.
Our game is about more than sacrifice. Our game's about style.
Camogie is the fastest field sport in the world.
In our game, we play and create with flair.
Push, all the way through, really good.
We break records, smash ceilings, and shatter expectations. We live with our own expression. we turn our style into art. We set real squad goals. On and off the pitch. We follow trailblazers and legends. And our game is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We forge our own path forward.
We want the new personal best. Come on, all the way, all the way. Yes.
Because our style is substance. And our style is here to stay.
And you're welcome back to St Brendan's Park in Burr. The face that you see on camera is our player of the match, Mary O'Connell. Mary, fine performance from you.
Oh, yeah, look, just team performance. It's just grand to get on the scoreboard there today. There was a lot of scoring done. I think it was 4:21, so that was our aim for today, try to just get scores on the board and just lucky enough to get a few myself.
Yeah, you just happened to be, it fell for you, I suppose, a little bit in the opening stages. I think you had 3 after about 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think I slowed down a bit after that. But yeah, look, it's just we started off well. There was good passes coming off the girls, and it was just in the right place at the right time. So
for you as a team, did you feel you had a little bit of point to prove after the performance against Dublin?
Yeah, I suppose it's early stages yet. We did feel we were a bit rusty against Dublin. I suppose it was our first game back after a few months, and we were only 3 weeks of training into it. So I suppose, yeah, we were trying to push on there today and try knock off a bit of the rustiness. So lucky enough, we did a bit of that anyway, yeah.
I'd imagine so. I'm very conscious of, we mentioned with Elaine on commentary, that, Tommy's influence on some of your touches, and you seem to fine-tune those a little bit more today. That seemed to work.
Yeah, well, look, it's in training, it's just all hurling and all match practice, and that's what they're looking for on the pitch, just to take the scores and don't have to be overpassing it and just take the scores when they come. And lucky enough, we did that today.
Mary, for yourself, getting into this setup and being the All-Ireland champions and everything like that, it's obviously hard to get in and get a jersey, get a starting spot. So I'm sure you're thinking, you'll be telling Brian, I have my hand up here now, let's pick me.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not as easy as that, unfortunately. Yeah, look, the competition in training is unbelievable. There's a panel of 36, 37 of us. Some girls couldn't travel today, and it could be anyone on any given day. Everyone's fantastic, and it's impossible to get on the starting 15 at the best of times. So, yeah.
Last question to you now, into either a quarter final or semi final, depending how ultimately the draw falls for you. Obviously, trying to get these games and keep competitive ahead of obviously bigger fish to fry, probably in championship. Yeah,
look, it's just take one match at a time, and I suppose it's just about stepping it up at every game. And yeah, look, hopefully maybe if we're getting to quarter final, semi final, we might be meeting maybe bigger teams. And look, it's all about just getting the games under our belt for championship.
Well, Mary O'Connell, you're our player of the match. Congratulations on your performance today.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Mary O'Connell giving us her views on the encounter here in St Brendan's Park in Burr. We'll keep the camera rolling, because coming into picture now is, of course, Kilkenny manager Brian Dowling. And Brian, you'll obviously, I know weather conditions and everything maybe against Dublin the last day, a bit of rustiness, whatever, but today in the sunshine, you really played some great hurling out there.
Oh, yeah, look, we'll be happy enough for that, Killian. I suppose we asked the girls to up the intensity from the last day against Dublin. We wouldn't be happy with scoring 1-8, but look, I said to you before the game, I suppose it was the first game, first 60 minutes that these girls have had all year, so we weren't expecting miracles, and we got an extra 2 weeks into the girls, and we think that benefited them today. And I said again before the game that we had a very good training session on Tuesday night, and we felt the girls were sharp, and in fairness, to push it on there today and score 4:21 is always happy. We'll always be happy enough with that. So again, now just into a quarter final or a semi final, we're just looking forward to getting more games.
Well, Brian, some of them now are going to give you a few selection headaches, I would imagine. There's a few girls come in there and put their hand up.
Yeah, definitely. Look, and that's what we're saying all year. You're not going to win anything with 15 players. You need girls pushing each other on, and we've 13 girls that weren't even part of the panel today that played their own training game at home this morning, and they're pushing the girls in training, and that's what it's all about. And when you get your chance, you just have to take it. There's new girls there, and we're trying out different girls the next day, and that's what we need. We need our panel getting bigger and bigger, and players like Mary O'Connell there coming in, and she was on the team last year, I suppose. For the first time, this is her second year now, is to push it on and become one of the leaders in the team.
And looking at Mary as well, you know, I heard things have been going well for her as regards training. So she comes in here today. She scores 6 points from play. Very active on the off the ball as well. So you know, she obviously is listening to your advice anyway.
Yeah, I hope so anyway. Look, I suppose Mary really stood up big time in the club last year. It's probably she one of the players really benefit from club hurling last year. Went to a couple of games there and she was, you know, really impressive, and we just asked her to bring that form into the county panel, and in fairness she did. And look, I think she's coming of age now, and look, it's early on in the year. Mary knows herself that she won't get carried away at this performance, but just shows that she can do it at this level. And you know, as I said, you're missing the likes of Anna Farr and Ann Dalton. They're retired now, so we need new girls to step it up. And you know, again, it's when one door closes, it's someone else, kind of it opens up for somebody else, and the likes of Mary and these girls, it's up to them now to push it on. Like Aoife Dial there again last year, first proper year on the team, so you know, they have to really drive it on now and become the leaders of this team.
A quick word on Colette. She seemed to come off with an injury, and also Miriam. Are they going to be okay?
I was just saying to him there, I think it's old age, Killian, to be honest with you, you know. they'll be grand.
How are you still standing after saying that?
Look, there are just a few knocks, I suppose. Look, this happens this time of the year. You're going to get a few knocks. I think Miriam just got a dead leg there. I think Colette just felt a twinge in the hamstring. So look, we're not going to take any risks this time of the year. To get any kind of knocks, we pull them out straight away, and that's it. And look, hopefully we'll be back for next weekend or a weekend after, and never playing again. So.
And you're anxious, as I said, to keep it trucking along, Brian, considering that fair today. Now, I'm sure they'll be all chomping at the bit over the next week.
Yeah, like, look, I suppose someone, you know, either quarter-final or semi-final, we don't really mind. Early quarter-final gives you an extra game and gives you a chance to look at different things. So, look, we don't mind. We just want games. You know, that's what the girls train hard for. They want games, and you know, in fairness, we're getting a lot of games in the league, and then we have a group stage in the championship, which is absolutely brilliant. And you know, it's just great to play, and it's great to be playing in this weather. You know, I suppose last year we started off in the league, and I think you were down in Cork as well, and it was hailstones and everything, and then we came back and it was hailstones again in the championship. So it's nice to have the hard ground and a bit of sun here, so it's a bit different. So look, we're happy enough with today, but again, we'll drive it on and we'll work on the things that maybe didn't go well for us today. But look, we just have to keep driving it on now in the next couple of weeks.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with that, Brian, and hopefully we'll see you over the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Killian.
Brian Dowling there, the Kilkenny manager, giving us his views on the game. And there's good timing now, because just as Brian finishes up, Susan has become available to us here now, and I'm sure she's had a few minutes to gather her thoughts. Susan, that was a chastening enough defeat, wasn't it?
Yeah, we kind of started pretty poorly in the first 15, and I think we were on our back foot there, and then we settled again in the second 15. We kind of were holding our own. There was only 5 or 6 points in it for a good few minutes, maybe 6-7 minutes, and I was kind of happy enough with their competitiveness at that stage. And I suppose then Kilkenny broke in for another goal, I think, and maybe the heads kind of hung a little bit. But look, we did some really good things, but we just lacked a bit of finish. Unfortunately, we missed a couple of goals there, a couple of goal chances. We got smothered up very easily, and we had a few players there that came on, you know, that probably will feature more down the line. But look, we did a load of good things. As I said before the match, we're on a journey, and sometimes the journey can go good and bad, and today probably wasn't one of the games that we'll look back on most, but it's probably one of the games we learn most from.
Yeah, absolutely, because I was thinking about, if someone looks at the scoreboard, they're thinking, God, that's an absolute hammering. I suppose it is, but there was so many good points out there. Yeah,
like the scoreboard, it definitely wasn't pretty, but so many good points. Like, you know, the Offaly girls were coming out with ball. They had plenty of possession, loads of possession. We definitely won a lot of our puck-outs in the second half. Just got a bit loose in the backs there in the second half, and you know what, when you're down by that much, it's kind of hard to kind of keep up the tempo as well. So look, as I said, lots of good things, lots of things to work on. Look, that's it. They're the best team in the country at the moment, and that's what we aspire to be, whether it'll happen this year or next year, but that's where you want your girls to go.
I didn't hear all of your team talk at half-time, but I would imagine you were telling them that that's what the performance was about. The water break to half-time in the first half, got to keep it going. And unfortunately, in the first 4 minutes of the second half, they scored 1-3, and that ultimately, I suppose, decided the game. That's going to be important, I think, going forward, isn't it? That, you know, especially when you're playing some of the bigger teams, you're going to have to knuckle into it for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's a killer, and it actually happened to us against Dublin as well. We were in good positions in both halves, like, you know, and the start of half time we just fell asleep, and you can't afford to fall asleep against the likes of Kilkenny, and conceding 1-3 in the space of a couple of seconds, you know, that probably killed our momentum a lot. But look, we kept trying good things, we kept trying short puck outs, we kept trying passing off ball, and they never really gave up. It would be very easy for one of them to just say, here, take me off, but they kept going, and the subs then that came on, I think did well as well. There was a few good performances there that to be considered for the next day as well.
Finally, let's finish on a positive note then, because you do have another day out in the league. You have a quarter final now to think about next weekend. You don't know obviously opposition just yet, but at least it's something to keep focus on.
Yeah, and it's another target, another day. Like, it'd be worse if we had to kind of go back into training and wait until championship. So yeah, we are, like, that's what I said. Like, today, I suppose, like, we wanted to try get a performance, but today was all about working on things that we kind of needed to improve on from the last day. And look, we've learned lessons, as I said, and we'll try and put some of them right now in training the next few days, and hopefully the next day will be more competitive, a bit more fight on us, and hopefully a better finish for goals and points the next day.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with training in the next week, Susan.
Thanks
for
million.
joining
Thank
us. That's Susan Erner there, of course, a former all-star in her own right with Galway back in 2011, but she managing the Offaly setup here at the moment, and as she mentioned there, I suppose good reflections, Elaine, on how matters have gone for her. Lots of good points, but again, as we mentioned, Kilkenny, there was going to be no sympathy shown or any kind of respect given to Offaly, was there?
No, and I think Susan touched on there when she said they tried a lot of stuff, and they tried the sharp buckets, they tried to give the ball sharp, but when that doesn't come off, you get away with it against certain teams. You don't get away with it against Kilkenny or against All-Ireland champions in any level or any sport. So, when the mistakes were made today, Kilkenny were able to punish them hard on the scoreboard.
And coming with, I suppose, limited numbers, we heard Brian there mention that he used some of his other panel for an in-house game and so forth. So, Kilkenny just seem to be, when they make decisions and make changes or whatever, they're able to get them right, aren't they, no matter what happens?
Yeah, look, the subs didn't weaken the team on any occasion there today, and maybe that's easier, you're coming into a team that's already 10, 12, 15 points ahead. It's easy maybe slot in, but it's the hard work that's done all over the field. Like, their work level never dropped, their commitment to the challenge and the tackle never dropped, no matter whether they were bringing subs on or whether it was the starting 15. They were all still well able to, as we said, throw themselves around and throw their names on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and again, as I said to Brian, some of those girls now putting their hand up for the next day, and himself and Tommy and Pat and Philly are going to have knock heads, I'm sure, in the next week to pick a team, really.
Yeah, look, and that's exactly what he wants. You don't want to have anyone so assured of their place that they're not pushing on. You need to raise the standards every year, and I suppose when you're All-Ireland champions, there's that little bit more pressure to raise it. You're ahead and everyone is in the chase and pack nipping at your heels, so you need to push on, and like, if you can't push yourselves on, there's nobody else going to be able to push you on. So there'll be girls obviously have played well this morning at the in-house game, and they'll be looking to push the girls that had the jerseys here today, and similarly the girls that were lucky enough to have the jersey today will have to do their best to train during the week to hold on to it for next week.
Well, that's all ahead next week. Very quickly then, just to fill people in, of course, 3 group winners. We have 2 confirmed, Kilkenny and Cork. Limerick and Galway play at 4:30, so whoever wins that game will be confirmed as group winners. But those group winners go into a hat, 2 come out, go to the semis, 1 goes into the quarterfinals with either Offaly, Tip, and whoever is the loser of the Limerick and Galway game. So, there's opportunities maybe there for Offaly in some ways that could spring a surprise just yet, but you're still probably dealing with Offaly and Limerick having an opportunity, as he said, but you're still talking about the big 3 and 4 there that are still knocking on the door for the big prizes.
Yeah, I suppose they're the 3 that will be top of everyone's list when you look at title contenders from the start of the year, and it'll be no different in the league this year. I'm sure there'll be the 3 that'll be ahead, but look, that won't daunt Offaly or Limerick. Offaly, as Susan said, tried a few things there today. It didn't come off, but if they keep working on them, what they need to do now is stay ahead of that chase and pack. They need to be looking to be competing with those top 3 and to make the top 4 or 5 every year, and that's where the standard needs to be to raise it on. And the same in Limerick, you can't have one good year and then follow it up with maybe 2 or 3 bad years. You need to be competing there or thereabouts, and I think that's what's the difference at the moment between the Kilkennys, the Galways and the Corks of this world. They're always there or thereabouts, and they're always chasing top honours, and ultimately that's where the Limericks and Clares of this world want to be.
Right, well, we'll see how that draw plays out, of course, with Limerick and Galway coming up at 4:30. Cork we defeated Waterford by 3-15 to 1-13, so unfortunately for Dublin, Clare and Waterford, it's the next few weeks of, as we mentioned, very limited top quality games for them. I'm sure they'll probably try to get challenge games or something like that, but when you're playing quality matches now, heading into good weather and dry pitches, you really want to be following on those with top quality league games heading into championship, don't you?
Yeah, and that's probably something Limerick and Offaly will be focusing on as a positive of this. You know, they're going to get a chance to play some of the top teams in the latter stages of the league. They'll have a focus going back to training this week. If you're Dublin and going back to training this week, you're looking at, you know, you don't have a championship fixture yet. Maybe you don't really know what you're focusing for. You know you're focusing for a championship, but it's up to yourself to drive it on for the next couple of weeks, and that can be hard in-house, you know, on an average year, let alone in a year where things are hampered a little bit with training matches and with challenges and stuff. Like, you really need to drive the standard yourself, and unfortunately then it'll be a quick run into championship, so you won't really know where you're at maybe until the first round of championship, and by that stage it may be too late.
Maybe too late. The views there of Elaine Aylward, with my thanks to Luke, Owen and to Dave in the background with regards to the match here in St. Brendan's Park in Burr. It may sometimes be known as the coldest place in Ireland, but believe me, today Kilkenny showed hot championship favour as they push on into the next round of the Littlewoods National Camogie Leagues. With my thanks, as said, to the crew and to Elaine again. We'll see you shortly, hopefully next weekend, but from St. Brendan's Park in Burr, it's good luck for now.
Our game is about more than sacrifice. Our game's about style.
Camogie is the fastest field sport in the world.
In our game, we play and create with flair.
Push, all the way through, really good.
We break records, smash ceilings, and shatter expectations. We live with our own expression. We turn our style into art. We set real squad goals. On and off the pitch. We follow trailblazers and legends. And our game is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We forge our own path forward.
You want the new personal best? Come on, all the way. Yes.
Because our style is substance. And our style is here to stay.